The planning board meetings are concluded by 10 p.m.
In the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman Marsh. Here. Mr. Pando.
Yes.
Mr. Friedberg.
Here.
Vice Chairman Yuan.
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
Mr. Barber.
Here.
Mr. Mazur.
Here.
I'm Jane. Just going.
Okay. We have minutes for the 30th. Meeting. Not very extensive.
Motion to,
Motion.
motion to approve the minutes of our 15 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting before you step down.
Okay.
Sure, so, the special meeting is regarding.
Yeah, 300 Chestnut Ridge Road, they asked for a special meeting. I just wanted to check if December 2nd was okay with everybody, so I can let them know. And then if it is, then we can go ahead and notice for it. I can do December 2nd.
Well, Tuesday, right?
Yes, I believe so, yes. Yes. That gives us all plenty of time to make it 700 and something.
What time? 7.
7 p.m.
o'clock.
here. Think. Wrong.
All right, is there anyone
Who's that?
here who can't make it on December 2nd?
I can't make it.
You can't make it, okay.
We'll be really warm and we'll all be really. I don't know.
All right, well, we do have a lot of,
I don't know.
there are no variances, there's certainly no D variances, so I think we have enough alternates, we should be able to get one, okay. But I only heard one no so far, everybody else is thinking. Okay,
Perfect.
So,
but Corrado, our board chairman, said that
He's available.
he's available, okay, so. Okay, that's
I make
it.
it by Zoom.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
So, you know, to be here.
Okay, there you go, Sal.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
you know, if the applicant's attorney doesn't object, I doubt that he would, okay. So the answer is probably yes.
Who's their attorney?
Mark Latham. Mark says no. Can you get up with him first?
so just a comment though, it is on the agenda for next week as well. Chestnut Ridge. So I guess,
That,
we'll start that and then.
Clarice, no, I don't think they're coming in November.
Mark Latham told me they're coming in November.
They're coming in November too?
I don't wanna-
There are 2 other applications which. I don't know. Probably they're not that. extensive, right?
I don't believe so, at least the one for the steps is not extensive. I think it's about the vision.
Well, maybe, you know. I guess his idea is that he'll get started in November, and hoping to complete it in December, but, see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I think the other 2 are ahead of him, the other 2 applications, I mean, one is a residential. And for stairs in the setback, I think basement type stairs, and the other is a 2-lot subdivision. But we'll address that when the time comes.
Okay. But I'll notice in the paper that I have a special meeting on December 7th.
Okay, that ends that board discussion.
Alright, so we have a new application, 26, Semi, 25 Prospect Avenue.
And just for the record, Nicole Morris is stepping down from the dais.
Couldn't hear what you said.
Just for the record, Nicole Morris is stepping down from the dais.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So 25 Prospect Avenue. Are you ready, attorney?
I am, Mr. Chairman, whenever you're ready.
I can say.
I think we're ready.
Okay, great. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Michael Piramali of the law firm Gassion and Pamaco, 1 Bowen Drive, Suite 102, West Orange, New Jersey. Appearing tonight on behalf of applicant Manor 26 LLC. The applicant is before the board tonight requesting preliminary and final major site plan approval with associated variance relief and design waivers.
Board, yep, and then our IT department will take it from there.
When you say they'll take it from there, what does that mean? Do I share my screen? Okay, that's great. Thank you. Subject property is located at the corner of Prospect Avenue and Crestfield Court and is also known as 25 Prospect Avenue. Also block 2701 lot 10 on the tax maps of the borough of Woodcliff Lake. The property was previously operated as the Woodcliff Manor since as far back as the 1970s, but unfortunately the Woodcliff Manor closed during the COVID-19 pandemic and did not reopen. Should the present application be approved, the current owner of the property intends to make a substantial investment to improve the property and continue the restaurant use. In support of this application tonight, I intend to call 6 witnesses. We'll move as fast as we can through this application, but we do have 6 witnesses this evening if we get to them. First, I intend to call the project manager, Matthew Valerio, who'll be responsible to oversee the project and the operation of the proposed restaurant. Then I intend to call our project architect, Arthur Michaels, to describe the existing building's condition, and then go over the interior and exterior improvements proposed. Next, I'll call our project engineer, Matthew Greco, to describe the existing site and then to testify regarding the improvements proposed to the site. Then I'll call our project landscape architect, William Boyce, to go over the proposed landscaping for the site. Then we have a traffic engineer, Justine Fox, who will testify regarding the anticipated parking demand for the restaurant and how the parking will be handled, as well as the anticipated traffic impacts to the nearby roadways. Lastly, if we get there, I intend to call our project planner, Thomas Ricky, to testify regarding the zoning considerations for this proposed use, as well as the variances requested in connection with the application. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would ask to call my first witness for this evening, Mr. Matthew Valerio. Does he use this microphone? He does. I think you should pull up a chair. No problem. Was he on? He goes. Nice. See. Franciato, do we swear him in?
No, the red light means they're on.
So just leave them on.
If the red light is on, that means it's on.
It was off the whole time.
So everybody's light should be on.
The light should be on.
Okay, all right.
There's no video either stream.
Yes, it's up there.
It's just computer,
It's,
which is
Would you stand and raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
Can you state your full name and business address for the record?
it's Matthew Valerio, business address 6 West Belt, Wayne, New Jersey, zip code 07470.
his name is, yeah, I just want to know for the record, that's what Judge Carlucci was saying.
Okay, noted for the record.
Thank you. May I begin?
You may begin.
Thank you. Mr. Valerio, what's your position with 805 Hospitality Group, which is the management company that will operate the restaurant at the property?
I'm the Director of Hospitality Operations.
And for the record, I would ask you to confirm the property is in fact owned by Lake Prospect Ave LLC. And that the restaurant is leased from Lake Prospect LLC to Manor 26 LLC, the applicant, both of which are subsidiary entities of 805 Hospitality Group. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're authorized to speak on behalf of the applicant entity Manor 26 LLC.
Yes.
How long has Lake Prospect Ave LLC owned the subject property?
We've owned the property since August 23rd, 2023.
And would you generally describe the condition and use of the property at the time Lake Prospect Ave LLC took ownership?
The property was unused in a state of disrepair.
And it was not operated at that point in time when you took ownership?
No.
Correct. And again, generally, we have several expert witnesses who will testify in great detail during the course of this hearing. But should the present application before the board be approved, what improvements are proposed and how will the property be used?
We plan on fully renovating the exterior and interior of the building and then operating it as a full-service restaurant serving lunch and dinner.
And what's your idea as far as the restaurant? Is it what type of restaurant is this going to be?
So it'll serve contemporary American modern cuisine, elevated concept, not too elevated where, you need to come in with a sport coat every day. It'll have a comfortable, family-friendly environment. And, we believe it'll have a massive improvement and in the community.
Great. And what are the proposed hours of operation for the restaurant?
We're planning on running from Sunday through Thursday, opening at 11:30 a.m., closing at 10 p.m., and then Fridays and Saturdays from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m.
How many employees are proposed for the busiest shifts? And would you just describe how they'll be employed, front of house, back of house, et cetera?
So busiest shifts anticipating about 30 total employees. Busiest shifts anticipating 30 employees, and then 22 of which front of house and then 8 back of house employees.
We just try to speak slowly because we are being transcribed.
Got it.
Great.
Got it. Noted.
Will valet parking be utilized at the restaurant?
Yes, valet parking will be utilized during peak hours, so primarily weekends and dinner shifts. And then during larger private events, during lunch hours, we'll also have valet parking on site.
So basically, when you determine that you need it, you will offer
Absolutely.
it. Will the restaurant have a liquor license?
Yes.
And for the hours of operation, when will the restaurant stop serving food?
It'll stop serving food 1 hour prior to closing. So Sunday through Thursday, we'll stop serving food at 9 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays at 10 p.m.
We're proposing an outdoor patio and outdoor deck areas. What will the hours of operation be for those outdoor areas?
So the both outdoor areas will fall in line with our kitchen hours. So we'll stop serving out there. We'll close those areas down at 9 p.m. The deck area will be, we won't do food service out there. It'll be primarily pre and post function space. So think, your pre-dinner cocktail while you're waiting for your table or your party to arrive for a reservation. And then the main patio area with food service, last seating will be 90 minutes prior to kitchen close. So Sunday through Thursday, we'll have our last seating at 7:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, last seating at 8:30 p.m.
Will there be any dinner music or other outdoor entertainment offered on the outdoor patio, the deck, or really any of the outdoor areas?
No live entertainment or dinner music anywhere outside.
Is there any lighting proposed for the outdoor patio and deck areas?
Yeah, we'll have low voltage bistro string lighting, something similar in both outdoor areas, as well as sconces along the entry and exit, and then post cap lighting along the railings. Just make sure the area is well lit, safe for not only guests, but employees as well.
This lighting is aesthetic and safety in nature
Yep,
only.
exactly.
Is aesthetic for aesthetic purposes and safety in nature only. And would you answer it again?
Yes,
Will the outdoor patio and deck areas be open all year round, or will these areas be closed during the winter months?
they'll be closed during the winter months.
And if they're closed during the winter months, what if any type of heating equipment will be used in the outdoor patio and outdoor deck area?
Well, no heating equipment whatsoever.
Are you planning on holding any private parties at the restaurant? And if so, would they be limited to any specific times?
Yes, we're planning to have private events. They'll be limited to our operating hours, basement level up to 60 people, and then on our main level up to 136 people.
When will
I'm
we
sorry,
go-
what was that, 60 people where?
And our basement level,
basement. Oh. And on the other level?
and then 136 people on the main dining level.
So that's a capacity for private events, or that's a total capacity?
That's just what we're gonna have for private events. That's what we're gonna offer.
So during a private event in the basement, there's other seating
Yeah,
in addition to the 60?
yeah, whether it's, you know, just regular day to day, or if we have another private event on the main level.
Got it.
With regard to deliveries, when will the deliveries to the restaurant be scheduled and how will the restaurant receive those deliveries?
So we're gonna schedule deliveries 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, with a delivery window from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we'll have a designated delivery area, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we'll have a designated delivery area at the rear of the building, right up against the kitchen.
Just a little pointer. This woman has to take down every word.
got it.
every single word, every comment. And do it during interruptions, sometimes when you're speaking, so you could just go a little bit slower, it's also beneficial to the board members too.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
How will refuse collection be handled, and when will that refuse collection be scheduled?
So refuse collection will follow the turning template that's in the site plan. We'll have a contracted licensed hauler. They'll come on site. We have a designated refuse enclosure at the rear of the parking lot. It'll be closed when it's not in use. They'll open it up, load the truck. All staging of the truck will be on site. And then close it when they're done and then leave the site. We'll probably schedule 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with a delivery, with a, not delivery window, with a window between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m.
And if there are large events or
Yep.
additional pickups are needed, will we be able to schedule additional pickups if needed?
100%.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions of this witness. I turn him over to the board. Now to the public.
Anyone here have any comments, questions?
Just have one, during the private events, is the regular restaurant open also?
Yeah.
So it'll be 196 if you have full capacity in your private, so then how many would be in the regular restaurant?
So if the basement and the main level, we won't do any food service upstairs. It'll just be cocktail experience and cigar lounge.
Whiskey cocktail?
Experience. And cigar lounge.
25, 30 people max?
I believe on the second floor, it's a little bit over 50.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at one time, you would possibly have 250 people guests.
Yes.
We have
250 people guests, and then your staff of the 30.
Yes.
Just I guess a little help for everybody. What is the background of the operating company? What other establishments do you own or run or?
So we have 5 properties currently in our portfolio. 2 operating. One's in right around the corner in Westwood, the Tavern at the Iron Horse. And then we have a barbecue spot up in Mawa called the Mason Jar. The 2 other properties under renovation is a gastropub out in Sussex County. And then we have it was an old sports bar. It'll be just kind of a neighborhood bar, modern American cuisine bar, restaurant in Wayne, New Jersey. The background is we have our owner investor, you know, he's been in food service for 35, 40 plus years, grew up in Bergen County. You know, he had an opportunity to invest in, it was the Iron Horse. And he didn't want to see it turn into, you know, an apartment complex or something that wasn't a restaurant. It was a neighborhood staple in the community. It's a restaurant that he loved. It was one of his first 10 customers back when his father owned the company. So he purchased that, and then another restaurant came along that was very similar in nature up in Mawa, where, you know, it's this neighborhood staple. He wanted to kind of keep it running, you know, get the right people in there, get operations efficient and make it a profitable business. And then it kind of grew from there. So the company's still young, you know, we'll be 3 years old come December. And we're looking to continue growing, keep adding these neighborhood staples, community hubs to the group.
Just, you may not know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people, when the prior establishment was open, what the capacity was there?
I don't.
That's all.
That was my question.
You think like.
Maybe we'll find out later, somebody else, but,
Can't hear you, Chairman.
we're saying that we'd like to find that, the answer to that question, because that's, a common thought here. This is a food establishment, existing food establishment that is gonna continue, but, there's some changes, so we wanna know, judging from the past, how things are changing.
Gotcha. I mean, we're planning to utilize the same spaces that the previous operator utilized.
So the renovations, I guess we're gonna talk to the architect about the expansion and some of the changes in the space inside, correct?
Yes.
We'll ask you those questions, okay.
Yeah, I think the question is, they want to know what was the seating capacity before the purchase and the prior use of the property. You don't know the answer to that?
Yeah, I don't have access to that information.
Council is,
Well, we can certainly
Yeah.
work on getting that for a future meeting. I think that's going to be outside of what we could discuss this evening.
okay.
But I would redirect with one question, Matt. The current, we are making renovations, interior renovations, but the space is remaining the same, is that correct?
Yes.
So there's no additions to the existing building, right?
No.
So the footprint is going to be the same
Correct.
building? Okay.
Is the only change then in capacity in terms of floor area is the outdoor seating? Would that be the addition?
Yeah.
Footprint of the structure is not
Yeah. And then
changing, but you have.
Mhm. Yeah, so adding the outdoor patio, and then we're adding the elevator shaft.
So the two outdoor dining areas,
Yes.
okay, and those are new,
Yes.
okay. And the basement do you know if the basement was used for dining in a bar by the prior owner?
I believe it was utilized for banquet space, but I'm not 100% sure.
Is there any intention to use premises for banquets or wedding receptions or receptions after religious ceremonies, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, within our capacity, 100%.
How is the basement fitted out now?
It's been completely gutted.
So there's cinder block.
I see.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, yep.
Rubble wall.
Yeah,
How old is the building?
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
You know what the ceiling height is in the basement?
It's about 9 feet.
9 feet?
9 feet. Yeah.
And then it seems like this will have a much larger capacity than Mason Jar and your other restaurant.
So it'll have less capacity than the Mason Jar, but more capacity than the Iron Horse. Yeah.
And how many people work at Mason Jar?
Currently staffed about 56 between full-time and part-time employees.
Here you think 30?
During our busiest shift, yeah. It's so 56 total. During our busiest shift at the Mason Jar, it's between 25 and 35, depending on when the patio is open.
How many seats are there at the Mason Jar?
373.
You know
What was
parking
that question?
is?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
How
that.
many seats in the Mason Jar? 373.
You know how many parking spaces there are?
At the Mason Jar, I think it's about 150.
You were making a gesture. Is that a guesstimate?
It's an estimate.
Yes.
I can get the exact count.
Please continue.
So, just understand, when you have a private event to those quantities of people, you said 136 and 60,
Uh-huh.
and then you still have restaurant operations ongoing with a certain number of, another 100 people maybe? 250 is the max, more or less? Is that a number that's stated?
I
Max
believe it's
capacity?
343.
Here's three, Sorry?
I believe it's 343.
Okay. And that's not including, yeah, that's not staff, that's guests.
Yeah, it's guess, yeah.
So when you have a full event with catered or a private event, banquet, with those capacity that you missed.
hear you.
If you have an event with the 136 and the 60 plus the existing restaurant
Yep.
operational, what's the staff at that point?
It'll be the 30 that I mentioned. So the layout, the way it operates is we're not planning to do food service on the second floor. It'll mostly be, I think, it'll be pre and post event space. So I think people will move throughout those levels, and then the outdoor patio, which is 56 seats, and then the deck, which is another 18 seats, that'll be seasonal use only. And the deck, again, we're not going to do dinner service out there. And then the patio will have the 56 seats available for people that want to eat dinner.
But just like for other establishments, they're governed by what the certificate of occupancy allows your patent, correct?
100%. Yep.
So. That comes from the outside governing body.
100%.
Mr. Valero, a question was raised. Do you know what the how many parking spaces are available at the Mason Jar restaurant?
112 spots.
How long have you been part of that? You said 2 years, Mason Jar?
Yes.
Was that a renovation or did you expand it or do any work on that project?
We did a patio. We renovated the patio at the Mason Jar.
But not a project like this. It was kind of a ready to go facility.
Yeah, I mean, we purchased it and the next day we were operating.
For a wedding reception, just curious how you would handle that, what your capacity is, because I think your main dining area is 136 seats. Okay, so imagine you need room for a dance floor, et cetera. What do you anticipate the size of a wedding reception to be?
136.
And is there room for you to have like a dance floor,
Yes.
even with the 136 seats?
Yep.
All right, so is that the maximum wedding size that you could have there, 136 seats?
Yeah.
I don't think you have any wedding receptions at the Mason Jar. The other facilities that you have where you.
We actually have, believe it or not. Yeah, yes. At the Iron Horse, we had a 40-person wedding on a Tuesday,
Okay.
believe it or not. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I learned something new every day.
Other comments, questions?
Professionals, any questions for your planner, engineer? Of this witness, of course.
No.
No, okay. All right, well then, we're gonna open to, are you done, Counselor?
I am complete with this witness. You want to open up to the public before we move on? That's fine with me, obviously.
All right. Just before we open to the public, I just want to make an announcement because I see a number of people here. Some of them are witnesses and some appear to be residents. We're going to open to the public, and what that means is that anyone can ask questions of this witness. As many times as I say that, we have residents that come up and they want to make comments or they want to testify. You are entitled to make comments about the application or testify about a certain fact or concerning the proposed development or the surrounding areas. If you do want to testify, then you have to take an oath, and then you can make factual statements. And if the testimony is under oath, it can be considered by the board. If it's not under oath, it can't be considered by the board. Same with regard to letters or emails that may be sent. They are not considered by the board because counsel has the right to cross-examine anyone that states anything about the application. So any participation has to be made in person. So what we'll do is we'll open to the public, and at this time, it will be for questions of the witness with regard to his direct testimony. There will be many other witnesses on different subjects. Some of the questions may be deferred to someone who can better answer the question. At a later time, you'll be given the opportunity to testify. If you want to testify, you have to let us know. And that would be after all of the applicants' witnesses have completed their testimony. And then at the very end, you can make comments about the application, your opinions, your statements, how you feel about it. And that comes at the very end. All right, so we need a motion to open to the public for questions of this witness.
Motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask this witness? Okay, Mr. Kudo, I recognize you. Just come up and state your name and address for the record. Spell it, please.
Hi, Alex Couto, Couto, 18 Crestfield Court. With Cliff Lake. First, I want to welcome you all. Welcome to our neighborhood. Hopefully, you have a successful place, but not too noisy. I have a question about the closed areas on the deck. When you mean you close it, in winter, is it actually closing or it's just not using it?
It will just not be in use.
So it's no enclosure. And just to confirm, no live entertainment.
No live entertainment outdoors whatsoever.
The lights in the outdoor area. What time you leave it on? What time do you plan on leaving it on or off? What's the?
So we need to give our staff enough time to clean it up once service is done. So it'll probably be on a timer and it'll shut off probably about the time that we close the restaurant. So 10 o'clock Sunday through Thursday, and then 11 o'clock Fridays and Saturdays.
Another question is, are you serving food on the outside, just to confirm, are you serving food or not for serving food?
So on the main level patio, we're going to be serving food, but on the second floor deck, we won't be serving any food.
It's almost in the front. Huh?
Yeah, you'll see it from the street.
Just what you guys call the basement, when you come west, is really street level, ground level, is the basement on the east side, but ground level, okay. So on the front, as you drive through, you'll serve food, but not upstairs.
Correct.
The refuse collection, you said from 8 AM to 10 AM?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's, your role will stick to that, hopefully.
Yes.
Another question is, so let's say you have an event, a big wedding. So you could have 136 people on the main floor. Then you'd have still people at what you call the basement floor, another 60.
I don't anticipate anybody having their wedding wanting to have the party separated.
You could have another function, something else going on.
Yes.
And you still have a restaurant serving food somewhere else in the deck, or like, I'm just trying to guess. You're very successful.
Yes.
Busy.
Yeah.
How many people are you gonna have?
How many people total if it was if 343 is the capacity we're looking for.
So you could put things around on a Sunday or on a Saturday, you could have. Okay.
Yes.
For now, those are the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. Anne Marie Borelli, 18 Crestfield Court.
So your last name?
Borrelli.
Spell your first name.
ANN, space Marie.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. So talking about the refuse, refuse, is that what you call it? Okay. So you said it's in the rear. Where in the rear?
Can I bring up the engineering plan? Sure, to answer this question. It's,
Yeah.
it's what's been submitted, it's not a new.
Okay.
So are you familiar with the property? So you know where that garage is?
So the garage, is that on the northwest?
Yes.
Okay, so it will be tucked in the northwest section.
Yep.
So how close would it be to the house that's adjacent to the parking lot?
I couldn't give you the accurate answer for that.
Because the house that's adjacent to the parking lot, like their bedrooms are overlooking the parking lot. So unfortunately, they're not here because they're not feeling well, otherwise they would be here, so I'm sort of helping represent them. Okay. So so just,
It might be a good good question for the engineer. When he goes over the site plan, he can give you the exact location of that.
Yeah.
so
And council might be able to show you on the plan here as well on the screen.
okay, so you said, okay, well, he took one of my questions, so.
Did I answer it right?
Okay, so, okay, so parking, that's not you. Is parking a question is parking a question for him?
He didn't testify that much about parking, so
We will have a traffic engineer that will testify specifically to the parking demand and the number of parking spaces and how far.
Okay, so you did say that there were 343 maximum capacity that could occur, correct? That could. There
Yes.
could be a wedding, and there could be the dining, the public dining, correct? For a total of maximum 343 capacity, right? Okay, all right.
witnesses shaking just said yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, but the question for parking is not for you, so I'll have to table that for later. Let me see what else, other question I have. Okay, so he asked a question about the outdoor, so there's no outdoor dining music on that rear balcony thing, right?
No, none whatsoever.
Now, the lighting, will there be lighting? Obviously, there's lighting on that deck, right?
It'll be all low voltage lighting and it'll be on a timer, so it'll shut off at an appropriate time.
Sort of sound barrier, because again, that house is directly overlooking the parking lot.
Mhm.
And if people are out on that deck laughing, talking, and then you have those lights, and they're in their bedroom, let's say they go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
It's a possibility there could be a disturbance for them. So, is it possible to have some sort of barrier there to protect?
I think the deck is far enough off the property line where I don't think talking volume will reach the property line. And again, from, between Sundays and Thursdays, we're gonna close it at 9 PM. And then Fridays and Saturdays, we'll be closing it at 10 PM. It won't be dinner service up there. It'll be, somebody enjoying an after dinner cocktail would be the latest that they'd be up there.
Well, I mean, I have a comment and I don't know, I have a comment, I don't know if it's allowed, but we do have experience with events in that property, and we did hear people in the parking lot, so it is possible.
Okay.
Because we did hear people, so. And bottles breaking and things like that, so, okay. All
Well,
right,
if
that's
you,
my
if you
question.
want to testify about that, you can
Okay.
do that at a later point, and you have to
Okay.
let us know.
Okay.
Okay, and
All right.
it has to be under oath, okay? And
Okay,
you
thank
can
you. I appreciate
elaborate
it.
on that if you
Okay,
want.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
I just had a question. I'm new to the area.
You have to state your name.
My name is Deepu Jose,
Spell it.
Deepu. Last name Jose.
JOSC.
Yeah. 32 Prospect Avenue.
Thank you.
I'm not familiar with the process, so pardon me. Just want to know, it's a lot of information right now. So can we get more time to process and ask the questions later? And what the process might be? I'm taking all the notes. I just want to, be on lawyers.
Well, there's going to be a number of witnesses. This is just one witness to give you an idea. There are professionals, including engineers that will go over all the details of the site plan. but if you have questions, you have to ask them of the witnesses after they testify, we open to the public. Sometimes the witnesses are brought back. We don't know how the application is going to go. There may be some unanswered questions. Some of the witnesses may come back and you could ask a question. Some of them may not. When they're done, they're done.
Okay. So I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah,
So-
you can ask this witness questions about his direct testimony.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks for all the information. That's helpful. But do you guys have security on site at all times during the restaurant hours, or?
We're not planning on having any security on site.
Cameras.
Yeah, we'll have security cameras, but as for like a bouncer, it's not going to be that kind of establishment. If that's what you meant by security, yeah. Yeah.
You have a bar.
Yeah.
It could happen. So
It's
what is there a plan for that? Like, say something was goes, right?
so we're going to be closing Fridays and Saturdays at 11 p.m. So we'll stop serving alcohol at 10:30 p.m. And then Sunday through Thursday, close the restaurant at 10 p.m., stop serving alcohol, and then we'll stop serving alcohol Sunday through Thursday. I'm sorry. We'll stop serving alcohol at 9:30 p.m.
I'm assuming you have DJs during wedding events and stuff, right?
You have what?
DJs, things like.
For a wedding event, we'll have a DJ if that's what the guest wants, but we're primarily a full service restaurant.
Got it.
So I mean, we won't have weddings larger than 136 people. And then we'll cater whatever kind of live entertainment, whether it's a DJ or a band, what they want to have. And again, we're not going to plan any of those events outside of our normal operating hours.
This might be more for the engineer, I'm not sure, but in terms of noise cancellation or soundproofing, do you have a plan? Is it gonna be soundproof?
Probably better for engineering, but yeah, I can't
No,
properly answer that question
Yeah,
at this time.
So, that's a concern.
Completely understood.
That's all I have for now, but thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Anyone else have questions of this witness? I see one here.
Lev Barinsky.
Spell your last name.
Liaison Victor, Barinsky. 10 Crestwood, Florida.
Thank
Just a quick one regarding cigar lounges, whether or not they add to capacity and whether or not they're gonna be open to clients just for coming into cigar bar, or are they just for dining guests?
So the cigar lounge will just be a supplement to the bar or the restaurant. So if you want to come in and get a cocktail and bring your own cigar, you can enjoy it in the cigar lounge. It doesn't add to the capacity. It's built into the capacity numbers that we spoke about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
Willow to Crestfield Court, I'm sorry, what is it? Road DREW, Lossack LOSAK. To Crestfield Court, I'm across the street from Matter. My question is if there's DJ music, not DJ music, if there's recorded music or radio music, is that going to be outside? Will we be able to hear that?
No, it won't be outdoors.
No music outdoors?
Yeah.
I will not be able to hear music outdoors.
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Any?
Ask a general question of the board. The gentleman is making.
You have to state your name.
Oh, sorry, Alex Couto, 18 Crestfield Court.
Did you speak before?
Yeah. This nice young gentleman is making a statement like no music outdoors. Is that something part of the approval? Will that be written down or is just his statement?
Well, we haven't gotten that far yet, but there,
Should the application be approved, the applicant would accept the condition that there will be no live entertainment and no music played in any of the outdoor areas.
So it would be a stipulation. And there
I
could
mean,
be
it's a
other,
Nice statement, but I want to make sure that.
well, there could be other conditions that the board may impose as well, but
Thank you.
they have to hear the application first.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Gail Losak, G-A-I-L, L-O-S-A-K. And it's 2 Crestfield Court. How large is the bar?
So there's going to be 3 bars. Basement level bar seats 17. The main level bar seats 19. And then the upstairs bar seats 7.
So there will be individuals coming in just to drink and smoke. It's gonna be like a bar. You're selling it as a restaurant, but there's gonna be a bar, like people are gonna be coming in.
I mean, it's marketed as a restaurant. It's gonna, we're gonna be culinary focused. There happens to be bars in the restaurant that will serve alcohol. 3, yes.
Anyone else? Okay. I don't see any other hands.
Motion close.
Motion to close to the public?
Motion to close the public?
Second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Oh, wait, don't get up yet.
Oh.
I have a question for you. Relative to some of the questions that were just asked to you, is food going to be served at the bars as well? In other words, could you sit at the bar and have a meal as well as a cocktail?
Yeah, primarily on the basement and the dining room. On the second floor bar, we're not planning on serving food.
And see, I had another question. Oh, there's a library, I think, on the second floor. It's called, there's a room called the library.
Yeah,
How is that going to be used?
just lounge.
It's just a lounge?
Yeah, so just think like rich, dark mahogany wood, built-in library, leather tufted lounge chairs where you can go and relax and have a drink after you eat dinner or before, or just come in and have a drink.
No books.
If you want to read a book, feel free. We could start a book club.
Thank you. I would ask our next witness, our project architect, Arthur Michaels. Thank you.
Yep. That's what we got. We have 7, right? So. Well. Might as well disclose this to council.
I just think that we are a client of this architectural firm and we use Arthur's brother Keith for almost everything. I'm with Capstone Realty.
Yep. Oh, what was that?
Capstone Realty.
Do you think that would, there any judgment to it?
No.
I had no objection to it remaining.
Well, if you feel as though you can still be fair and impartial to the application, then I think you can still sit.
Okay. It's mostly Keith that we use.
Yeah.
You don't
Sound like Keith.
I'm Keith in disguise. Okay.
Mr. Princiato, we swear him in. Should I qualify first? What's the
Well,
procedure?
we'll swear him in first. Could you stand up, please?
Certainly.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state and spell your name and give us your business address?
Sure. Arthur Michaels, Michels. Business address is 645 Westwood Avenue, with the architectural firm Michaels and Waldron.
And Arthur, would you briefly give the board the benefit of your experience in the field of architecture so we may qualify you?
Sure. I'm a registered architect in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, I guess. have been since 1986. The license is current in New Jersey as well as all the other states. I'm the principal of Michaels and Waldron. I hold a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Architecture from Kent State University School of Architecture and Environmental Design. I'm also a licensed professional planner in New Jersey, and the license is current, NCARB certified, LEED certified, ARB certified, LEED certified, member of the American Institute of Architects. I've previously testified before hundreds of boards over the last 30 years, and I've done food service establishments that you might have heard, such as the Chart House as the architect on Manhattan Woods, a lot of banquet facilities and hotels. So I have a lot of experience in not only just general the field of architecture, but specifically these food service type operations.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to qualify Mr. Michaels as an expert witness in the field of architecture.
Any questions on the qualification of this witness by the board members?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Michaels, if you just try to speak slowly, we do have a court reporter with us here today.
Sure.
Would you describe the existing facility as it sits now?
Sure, and I'm going to try and answer some of the board's questions about the previous use there. I'd ask you to bear with me. I'm going to base it on, one, my memory from my wedding there 36 years ago. And two, looking at the plans and being through the facility and having a general idea of how many people could fit in those kind of spaces and so on. So the existing facility has essentially 4 levels. There's a basement level. That basement level before had a smaller banquet room. My recollection was it was for about 100 people at that time. I certainly can go and do calculations on what that area could have supported if the board requests that of me. It also had bathroom facilities down there, and then it had a kitchen. There was a main floor level, which had a kitchen, the entrance area, the main banquet room, and a bar room. I know, and I'll talk, when I talk about our plan, you'll see that our seating area is actually the plan that we have now, the proposed plan. You'll see the seating area in that area is actually less than it was before. I know my wedding there 36 years ago was 125 people, and we didn't use the full room. My recollection is they were going for about 150 to 160 people, which to me makes sense with the counts that we have now, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail when we get there. The second floor above that had a bride's room, had like a greenhouse space, had the bathrooms. There were no bathrooms on the main level in the existing facility. And then there was a top floor that was an office. There was storage. And when I walked through it last year, it looked like there was evidence of an apartment being there at some point with, I don't know, for staff or someone that had to stay overnight or something like that. You know, that's just sort of what I observed. Now I'd like to speak a little bit about what we're proposing. What I'd like to do is go through the floor plans, then go through the exterior of the building. So what you see up on the screen is the basement floor plan.
Hold on one second. So, is that put that on there?
I'm just going to ask you to refer to the marking on that.
Sure.
Pre-marked, I think most of these exhibits, but.
Yes, this would be A1, basement plan revised July 2, 2025.
Okay.
Okay. go ahead.
So this is the proposed basement plan. The area that has the seating and the brown area with the bar was probably what the old banquet area was. And actually we've expanded the bathrooms and we've taken a little bit out of that space. The gray area on the right is the kitchen. We're planning on renovating the kitchen area here. We're looking at having 3 little breakout rooms, you know, that'll be for parties and smaller functions. Okay. The three rooms combined total the 60 seats that Matt had referenced before. And then there's a bar area in the front that we refer to as a pre-function area. You know, the original intention on that is that it would be a pre-function area for, you know, for whatever events are going on in these party rooms and so on, and for people to go back and forth and mingle in between them. Very much like that's very typical of banquet type facilities and meeting, you know, party rooms and so on, having that. There is a slight addition on this, and that's that little X right in the middle above the stair there, right there. That's an elevator. One of the features that we did onto this building that I'm going to be talking about is that this building was not handicapped accessible. You could get into this lower level, but there are a couple different levels on it. There was no way for a person of handicap to be able to get into the main level or any of the upper levels unless someone assisted them or carrying them in. So part of upgrading this building and enhancing it, we've made it barrier free, and we're adding an elevator that connects all levels off of the back lobby. Okay. Flip to the next page, which would be sheet A2 in the set that was previously submitted.
Will you leave A1?
Sure.
It's a kitchen.
That's the whole gray area is a kitchen.
The gray areas next to the walk-in refrigerator? Right
Yeah,
there?
the walk-in refrigerator. Yeah, so it's a prep kitchen, and then you know, a small kitchen for some of the things that would be happening down here. The main kitchen is upstairs, and this would be more of a prep kitchen.
All right, so it's
And then there's a back stair up in the upper right on the top, which connects the two kitchens. So if someone had to go and get someone from the walk-in freezer or the coolers, they could connect them between the two kitchens.
Is there cooking in the basement kitchen? or-
Yes, there would be some cooking in the basement cooking.
So are there 3 sets of stairs to the exit?
There's the exiting for the basement, okay? There's the double doors to the left, okay, which go straight out to grade, okay? There's in the back, in that sort of goldish area in the middle, there's keep going to the right, nope, keep that one, that stair goes up to the foyer upstairs, okay? That's where all customers would be able to go and exit. They're on opposite sides of the functioning space. The other stair that's off there is in the kitchen. It would serve as a secondary exit from the kitchen. And the other exit from the kitchen would be back through the gold area into either the other 2 stairs. And it would also serve as a service stair connecting the 2 kitchens and the kitchen to the loading for taking trash out, for bringing food in, for circulating back up and forth for staff purposes.
How many kitchens are there going to be?
2,
Just 2?
just 2.
Okay. Nothing on the second floor.
No. There's really no food service intended on the second floor. Okay, are we good to jump to the next plan? So the next plan, I think the engineer is going to talk a little bit about this more in detail, but I just want to speak a little bit about the organization.
A2 for the record. Okay.
You know, the original facility had, right where we have that outdoor seating area now, had a main entrance and had a drop off, you know, but it had all the parking in the back of the building, and there was really no decent entrance off of the back of the building, which was fine for a banquet facility where people would come in, they would get dropped off at some grand stately drop off and so on, and then or you would be walking around. Right up front, we concluded that it made much more sense to have the entrance for the building, you know, where the parking is, you know, and it also, it was a spot where I could put an elevator that I was able to connect all the levels, which I would have had difficulty in the front. So, and there was also a stair in the back that we added, which I'll talk a little bit more for fire safety. that I could add the stair back there to increase the fire safety of the building. So once we had the entrance and so on in the back, we concluded that a nice patio in the front to complete that shape, provide a nice image. And ever since COVID, you know, people very much like to have some outdoor dining, some outdoor space. We thought that it'd be a nice image. It would be an uncongested space, and it would have a very good appearance to it. The old facility didn't, you know, consisted of, let me use the maps for a second. I think it's going to be a little easier. Consisted of this space here going like this, down, around, back in here, and over and up like that. And then it had a bar about the same size right back in this corner. So part of the upgrade in this building is a restaurant. We expanded the kitchen because it's going to have a larger variety menu than a strict banquet facility is going to be. And although we expanded bathrooms downstairs and we expanded bathrooms up on the second floor, we thought that it was appropriate to add some bathrooms on this floor, you know, so we added that in the middle. And then we had a little waiting area. So in fact, that the seating area that's left over here is probably 80% of what the seating area was when it operated as a banquet facility. Like I said, my wedding was 125 people. My recollection is that I could easily book for up to 150. We're seating 136 in that area right now. And I would think that if I went through and did the calculations on that space for the egress requirements and the code for banquet facilities, I could easily exceed the 150 to 160 people in that area, and I'd happy to do that for you. So that's just my sense of what that space was based on my experience before, my experience on other facilities, and knowing on how this laid out and that it's a little smaller.
So are you saying you could fit 150 to 160 seats in the area as it's going to be developed?
No, I'd say the areas that's developed, we're seating 136, I believe. I'm saying that before, when it operated as Woodcliff Manor as a banquet facility, it seated in excess of 150 people easily. And the bar was a similar size, and that was in addition to that.
The raised porch dining area.
Yes.
Was that there in the old days?
No,
No, so that's new?
that's entirely new. That was some steps and it's a porte cochere.
I guess you'll get into the size of that in your testimony.
Sure.
Quick question. You made mention earlier about basement, approximate capacity, based on your understanding of numbers for what to fit down there.
I based my capacity of what was there when it was operating as the Woodcliff Manor on two things: on my memory from 35 years ago and what they marketed to me, and knowing the size of the space, and doing other facilities. You know what I believe it could fit without doing the calculations. I certainly can go do the calculations and lay it out.
Did you say that basement is footprint?
The basement area is actually, can you jump back one sheet?
Of course.
The basement area is actually, it's similar in area. What's different, okay, is that the bathrooms are more spacious and larger now than they were back then, okay? And two, we've divided it up. Instead of being one big space, we've divided it up into a pre-function area, which has got the bar in it, and then the rooms. Is that to say that the bar couldn't be filled and all the rooms couldn't be filled? I guess that's possible, but I don't think that that's likely. I think the way this would be likely to be operational is that you, and Matt can talk about it, is you would have people in the party rooms And then they would use the bar area for servicing or use the bar area before they move into the party rooms.
Did you inspect the site recently? Have you been? to the site?
I went into the site before the interior demolition was done, and I've been in the site, probably about 6 months ago when there was some gutting done, so I could inspect
So
some of the structure.
Prior to demo, was the basement an open space like the banquet hall upstairs was? Just to extrapolate the numbers from upstairs, did you assume that it would be the same downstairs roughly?
I don't know if you want to mark this. I have a as-built plan that we did of the basement before we started construction. So if you would like me to mark this, I'd be happy to pass it around. I don't know how you want to do that or not.
You're gonna refer to it or make it testify about it for the record, then we need to mark it.
I have your list. Would it be A10 or?
Yeah,
Or I can talk about it just in general terms up here while I'm looking at it, if that's,
I don't know what you have.
Yeah. Do you have any problem giving this?
no.
Up? Okay, great.
Nope.
Let's mark it. A10
And,
and basement plan, former basement plan.
okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Princiano, I just want to note for the record that the Chairman Belgevin is here.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Welcome, Mr. Chairman. We're going to speak to this exhibit briefly, and then we'll pass it around and we'll leave it to the board secretary for her records.
So, this plan that I'm holding up is the former basement plan. You can see there was a little bathrooms in the door over there that exists there. We expanded the bathrooms out that way a little bit more. The kitchen line is back here, and that's basically back at, is back at like this line, right there. You can see where that tees in, and that before was one big open space.
What are the dash lines? Dash lines, the gray dash line, look at that.
They coffers in the ceilings, just a little ceiling treatment.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Coffers in the ceiling, little ceiling treatments.
Gianna, can I just go back to a question you asked earlier? Upstairs. Being used as a banquet hall downstairs. Prior to. So can I go back to a question you asked earlier? Can I go back to a question you asked previous on the second floor while they're going through this? The area where the original stairs and their original porch was,
Yes.
basically that's where the new addition is gonna be, or they're gonna be coming out a little bit further from, like, basically to the length of the stairs.
Can you, on the second floor, you're talking about,
Yeah,
you can jump to the second floor?
He asked the question, was that area there?
So the original stairs were in the middle here and came out about probably that far. And then there was a circular drive that swooped through here.
Well, it was like a terrace or there was a glass.
There was like I have pictures that I'm going to be showing you later. It was like a greenhouse
Gotcha.
that was up above it, which we're removing that greenhouse and then closing it now.
You know, I mentioned this before, we brought it up before. Your design is based on the guidelines of the C of O, certificate of occupancy. Guidelines of the certificate of occupancy that are allowed on this premises, does your drawings represent that?
What, this drawing, the drawing I represent is the proposed addition that we're doing. And certainly after we go and do construction drawings, this would all meet the current code requirements by the New Jersey Uniform Construction Code and would be able to be CO'd by your construction official once it is built according to the plans and specifications that we prepare. Does that answer the question? So, to continue on here, so what we've done sort of, on the front of the building, we added that patio that we've just been speaking of. And that patio there, will seat up to 56 people, all right, 56 seats. We've added in the back an addition. Oops, I jumped plans here. That addition had several elements to it. It included a new elevator that connects all levels that I just talked about. And that's to bring the building up to the current barrier-free code requirements. Okay, we've added a fire stair to the left of it in the back. Currently, the upper floors are served by a single stair that's not in a fire-rated enclosure. So we've added a stair in that's in a 2-hour fire-rated enclosure that will discharge directly outside. You know, so someone from from the main floor, second floor, third floor will be able to go into that enclosure in a safe fire-rated enclosure, go down the stairs and exit straight out the building. Okay, that's a code upgrade to the building. Okay, that's part of the addition. We did a little vestibule so that when you're waiting to go into the elevator, you're covered from the rain and protected from the elements. We added a stair to get up to the main level, a half stair up to the main level. In case you don't want to use the elevator to go up 4 feet. We've added a little stair here to go down to the basement level. So if you're parked in there and you wanted to enter off of the main entrance or off the elevator lobby versus around the side, you had the opportunity to do that. We've added a valet room, and that's a little room there with a window and a pass-through to the lobby area, to the vestibule area, for patrons to give their little ticket and have the valet go and get their car while they're waiting for it. And then behind that, we added a convenience stair connecting the first and second floor kitchens, which serves as a secondary exit for the kitchens, as well as a service exit or service access for kitchen and staff personnel that will open up directly into a loading area that you will see on the plan. Then there's a little reception and waiting area there. There's a small bar there. If you want to sit and eat at the bar or wait for your table there. The bar seating is, I just want to make sure I have the 19 seats. Okay, and then the main dining room is the 136 seats that we talked about. In addition, there's another little convenience stair in the back that connects you down to the first floor. Once again, that gets you exiting. That's on opposite sides of the building. So we solve code problems for remoteness. Okay, and it's a convenience for connecting it, and there are additional bathrooms down on that second floor. The next plan, let's see, is the.
Before you leave this plan.
Sure.
Matthew's testimony was that there could be a wedding on this floor.
Yes.
And he said 136 people. And the question I had was, where would you put a dance floor if you had 136 guests at a wedding?
I think what happens in weddings, okay, you don't have 4 tops and 6 tops, okay, on the tables. So what happens is a lot of those tables would probably get clustered together to seat, 8 or 10 or so on. When you cluster the seats together in tables together so you have more people at the table, then you need less circulation room around them. That circulation room could be utilized to make a dance floor.
Any plan on where you would put it?
I think it would be up to operational. I mean, I think they they certainly could put it on this wall here. They could put it, it's a big open space. They can put it almost anywhere they want.
Do you think they would bring different tables in for a wedding, tables for 10?
You have to ask them. I don't know what they're, at this point, know what they're buying. I don't know if they would just stack them or if in fact the four top tables that they have had leaves that flowed up, to make it a round table so it could seat more. I think that that's something that'll be, if we're fortunate enough to get approval, that's something that we'll develop in an interior design process as we select furniture. Good?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, yep. Okay, okay, this is that, the second floor that we talked about. You can see there's, this green area in the front is where that old, greenhouse used to be. We're enclosing that with, walls, sliding windows that open and close, and that's, it's one of the cigar rooms. Then there's the green in the back, which is, once again, it's a sort of small patio space. It will have a terrace space, I guess, it will have a little terrace above it. There's limited seating out there. The whole idea of this floor, it's just sort of a lounge area, not food, just sort of cigar lounge, social lounge. It's not really intense seating up there, so there's some bar seating, there's some high tops, and just sort of spread out like that.
So you're referring to A3?
A3, I'm sorry.
That's a, hey, the indoor outdoor cigar lounge?
Yes.
Is that covered? Is there?
Yes.
That's covered.
It's got a roof on it, and it's just, you'll essentially have sliding windows or windows that are open. The rest of the facility, you generally don't like to open the windows in the facilities like this. You want to control the temperature with air conditioning and heating. This one, because it's in a cigar lounge, we thought that it would be nice to have some fresh air moving in there.
And the outdoor rooftop seating?
Yes.
Is that covered or is that?
The only cover on it, you'll see on the rendering that I'm going to show you, is an open trellis. And it's just sort of to give some ambiance. Some of the tricks that we use to make the building look nice. Okay. And then, and once again, there's the fire stair that we've added, and the elevator that we've added, and then we've updated the bathrooms to be compliant to the current codes and current sizes. And then on the third floor, it's really just the stair and the elevator go up there. And it's really, quite frankly, it's leftover space from what was in the building. They'll just use it for clerical offices and so on for the staff. A couple things I'd just like to point out about the building. I've talked about the barrier-free upgrades. I've talked about life safety with the fire-rated stairs. Also part of this, we've decided to fully sprinkler the building. The building is not sprinklered at this time. So we're going to be fully sprinkler the building for fire safety. And then redoing all the kitchen and all the mechanical equipment. And with redoing all the mechanical equipment and all the lighting, it will be all energy efficient equipment, LED lighting. So it's going to be very eco-friendly, very green, because it's going to be less energy intensive than what the old building is at any time. To talk about the exteriors, I'd like to just go to the renderings a little bit. So I prepared.
The third floor plan you just testified about, that was A4, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Now I'm going to go to an exhibit, which I think I marked as EX1. If the board would like copies, I brought 11x17 copies. I'd be happy to pass out if you want it, or if you want to just look at it on the screen.
Did we have this previously?
No.
No, okay.
So if you have the copies, I would.
We do.
Does that need to be
Let's
entered
mark
into as another exhibit? Did you mark the exhibits? I'm sorry, I missed that.
We did. We started with the applicant's exhibit list provided by Mr. Princiato. It ended at A9. We marked A10, which was the former basement plan. So this will be A11. Blow it up. View of front at side drive is the name of it.
We don't have it yet, so we don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you, Chairman.
We don't have it yet, so I'm not sure what it's labeled as.
There's going to be 3 exhibits. One's going to be EX1, EX2, and EX3. And I have a number of.
Is that all gonna be part of A11?
If you would like to mark them together, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so A11 is EX1, 2, and 3.
Great.
I did not hand out. It's for if we want them. I haven't said
That one there.
what's that?
We have extra.
What's the question? There already is an existing rooftop deck there, right?
There's in here, there's no, this, in the back, there's no rooftop deck. Okay, in the front, there is that little greenhouse that, I actually, for convenience, because I'm sort of proud of how nice we made it look. I dropped in a picture that I took of the existing facility, you know, so I think what you're referring to is there's a little greenhouse that's right there. And this is right up there is that enclosed area that I talked about before, which was that indoor-outdoor cigar lounge, you know, where I said that those windows could be operable.
Probably on the bottom, which you're all in the right-hand corner on the top floor. Is that green?
Yeah, I don't know what that's,
An outdoor.
it might be, it was a little scary. I don't recall being on it, so it's, you'll see it in the back. It's, I sort of ignored that. I'm trying to blank it out of my mind.
Mike, we got some extras. You want to pass them to the audience?
Sure. I think I brought enough that I thought that
Yeah, we're
could
good.
be done.
There's a couple extras we can pass out to the audience.
Yeah. Okay. So, when, you know, this view is from the, southeast corner, what used to be the entrance drive, over there along the side of the building, where you would be coming up along the porte cochere. Okay, and you can see in this in the, the patio that we've added. We've picked up the stone that we've selected that's going around the building to give it a nice solid base. Had a nice railing around it. Had some what looks like wood treatment on it, but is actually fiber cement treatment that looks like wood. It's very good looking, and it's very eco-friendly, and it's very durable and long-term maintenance. You'll see the shingled roofs that we have there. Instead of just doing regular asphalt shingles, we're doing those vinyl slate shingles, the really heavy slate shingles. They from more than 5 feet away.
If you could just, I'm sorry, guys, if you could just keep quiet because she's trying to.
You know, it looks like a slate roof. We've reclad much of the building with fiber cement panels, either vertical or horizontal. You might know the term from a trade name, Hardy panels. You know, those are going around. There's some certain key elements around that we have aluminum, copper clad or metal panels around them on columns and so on with a copper-like material. We do have some of the stucco around the end, and you can sort of see the relationship of what the building is to what it was before. We try to respect the former design and architecture and stateliness of the building, and sort of supplement it with the materials that we see and expect today in high-end products, you know, and added some little flash and details, like the entrance over the canopy here and so on. We added some nice details around. When you look at the site plan and the landscape plan, you'll see that there's like a little fire pit out here and a little pathway and some nice landscaping. And we've tried to incorporate all that in. So the basic roof lines and shapes really mimic what they were before with enhanced materials, cleaning them up, and tried to be respectful of what was there before. Can you go to the second? I think it's the second file. The next one is a view from the main entrance drive coming in, which is on the, once again, off the Prospect, just sort of on the west side. You can see the entrance drive going in. You can sort of see some of the landscaping that is going to be talked about a little later. And once again, we've used those same materials, cleaned things up, and sort of added some nicer details at various spots, changed all the windows with new windows, and really upgraded it dramatically. Then the last one is a view of the back that it sort of is the parking lot side.
That was EX2.
That was EX2. This is EX3. The rendering I'm showing you here is what I thought was the worst view because it shows the loading dock area and the service area. So I wanted to make sure that we showed that clearly. You can see that we screened that all very well so that you really don't see that area very well. To the right side is the main entrance. The little door to the left of it is to the valet. The door to the right of it, right to the right of it would be the fire stair. You can see that little outdoor patio that we've been talking about off the second floor. That it's just a little patio up on the roof. It's sort of set back from the edge. We use the parapets of the building and the shingled roof as the guards for that. And then we put a little trellis up on top of it to give it a little scale and to give it a little interest in the back and use it to bring the scale of the building down because it brings it down to a more human scale to it. The two elements that we've added that are somewhat taller is the square right in the middle. That's the elevator. And then that shape next to it is that new stair that goes to the third floor. So what happens with elevators is once we went to the third floor of the elevator, I'm required by building code to have an overrun above the top floor of like 13.5 and 14 feet. And then I have to go, and then I put a little roof on top of it. So that triggered really, this is what triggered our D2 variance for the height,
D6.
or D6, sorry about that. I don't have my planner's hat on tonight.
Building change
The only building, the two areas of the building,
is this elevator extension.
elevator and the stair.
and
Okay,
stair.
and the stair to the right of it, right there. Those two elements are where it changed. The stair is a little bit lower, the elevator is a little higher. I brought the stair up because I wanted to sort of transition the vertical element down to the lower roofs.
So the two areas where the height of the building changed are the square where the elevator shaft is.
And the footprint for the stair.
Okay. And
Like-
that peak to the right of that, is that existing?
This here is all existing.
What-
That's all existing. This is new,
Right.
okay? And this is new.
New and higher than what was there.
It was new, it was higher than it was there, right? And that's what's going up to the 40, let me just pull up the number so I make
The
sure I'm
engineer
accurate.
will speak to the height.
Okay, to the height on the engineering.
And that peak for the stair is only where the stair is. That doesn't carry to the front of the building.
No, it comes up to, can we go back to, go back to the original set.
Original set?
The original set. Okay. And if you go to the last page in the original set, okay, go back one, and the one in the upper right, the aerial view at the rear on the upper right, you can see right there the extent of it. It's that little piece there.
And it does not
Does
go
not-
all the way to
Does
the
not
front.
carry. to
It
the-
doesn't all go away in front, no.
Can you explain again the requirement for the elevator, 13 feet? from
So,
there?
so what happens is when you have an elevator, okay, there's code requirements because they have mechanics that might be working on top of the elevator. And they're afraid that when an elevator is running, okay, and it sort of depends on the elevator, the speed of the elevator and so on. If the elevator started and there was a mechanic on top of the cab, you know, and it, for some mechanical failure, it stopped and goes up, you know, you could get crushed when you hit the ceiling up above. You know, so the elevators always have what they have is called an overrun on top of it. Okay, that overrun typically is 13, 13.6, sometimes 14. It varies of it. And you also have a beam going across the top of it, you know, that's right over the middle. So that requires the elevators to get pushed. Elevator towers always go up a little higher than the rest of the building because of the code requirements to have those elevator overruns.
So it's 13, when it stops at the third floor, the roof of the elevator cab, let's call it, that box, from there up is another 13 feet.
To the underside of any kind of obstruction within the shaft.
Just visually from this picture, it doesn't look like 13 feet from the,
It's 9 feet within or 8.5, 9 feet in the ceiling, and then there's 5 feet in there. You know, we ran the numbers. Maybe it's 12.6. I forget which elevator we picked, but there's a specific number in there. We worked this out so it would work.
peak of that roof.
It's not to the top of the peak of the roof. It's to
And
the obstruction in the shaft.
The engineer will speak to the overall heights. He's just explaining architecturally why he had a design.
It had to be higher.
Could you go back to A6, the loading area? That is,
On the floor plan or the rendering?
the rear view with
The rear view, that's the A3 rendering.
A6 view 4,
Right.
or
Oh.
image 4.
Yeah.
A6, I'm sorry.
Image 4, got a 4 on it. Probably a little bit lower there, Mike. There you go.
That shows the loading area?
That shows the loading area.
Right, okay. Is that an overhead door there?
That's a door, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be using it but right, I designed a door that could be opened in case something big had to go in. It's a panel.
An overhead door, like a garage door?
It's probably gonna be a paddle and it'll be able to swing.
So
you-
a truck would back up to that door?
It could back up to that door and you could open it so you could load something in if you wanted to. More than likely, they're just, because it's gonna be smaller trucks, they're just gonna come in there and they'll go in that stair that I talked to you about and just walk
Is
up
that
to
where
half a
all the
flight.
deliveries would take place?
That's where the deliveries would take place.
Thank you.
And that area is accessible and that stair is accessible to both kitchen levels.
The, I'll call it the shading of the panel that's put up next to that, is that designed to kind of shelter a vehicle while it's in place loading? Is that the concept there?
Yeah,
How far out does that come, like a van size? Is that what it is?
how far that comes out
Yeah,
in the wall, yeah, it's probably, let me just look at the plan.
roughly, like the intent there is to
Yeah,
screen a potential load so that you're not seeing. truck
you're not
load.
seeing what's going on in it. The truck is gonna stick out if a truck goes in there, but you're not gonna really see the operation in there. And you're not gonna go and see if garbage is coming out or something like that. That's gonna be obstructed back there. Let's see, what else do I think, one other thing I just sort of want to touch on real briefly. And maybe you can go back to that A2 exhibit or A1 exhibit, the EX1.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a couple things in your
A11 or A1?
what
A1, EX1.
EX1.
A11EX.
In your in the engineer's report, he questioned me on mechanical systems. Okay, and so there's a just a couple things that I want to talk about on that. Is that, you know, there used to be a couple exhaust fans over here. I think ultimately, and you can sort of see one here, it's on the elevation, the other side, you see another one. We're gonna try and put it on the roof where it's a little bit screened. Any other kind of lower equipment, I got a roof area in here that's available, that this roof would screen some of that mechanical equipment. And then the other mechanical equipment, if you could go back to the basement floor plan. You know, in the basement, there used to be an outdoor patio right over here. And we're really planning on using that outdoor patio for mechanical equipment on the ground. So we don't have to put it on top of the roof where it's really visible. It's sunken in a well, and when you go and look at the landscape plans, that area is all very well landscaped. You know, and we think that it would be, that hides the mechanical equipment better back there. And then we think it's also acoustically a little better down in that well, you know, surrounded by shrubbery and so on, versus up on top of a roof where it would transmit the noise a little bit more.
Are we talking about air conditioning units?
Yeah, but you know, I think it's probably for the most part going to be condensers. There might be an air handler in there,
Is
but
there gonna be a generator?
no generator.
A generator.
I quite frankly, I have not discussed that with my client. I don't,
We're open to it.
I don't think we've made the decision yet. I think we'll evaluate that during the construction document phase.
Mr. Chairman, I think if they want a generator, they should show them that.
We're certainly not finishing tonight, so we'll discuss that and we'll come back with another plan showing a generator if we do decide to incorporate one in the plan.
Do you have a generator at the two other restaurants?
No. I do, and some larger banquet facilities that are hotels, we have them where people are staying overnight and so on. But in general, restaurant facilities, we generally do not put the generators in. That would be unique.
And typically with an elevator, they would include a generator, but
You don't need a
not needed.
It's not needed. You don't need it till it's 5 stories tall.
Gotcha.
You know, for an elevator backup generator or higher in some cases, you know. So just sort of a brief recap on some of the things that I think that we've done here. You know, we've done an adaptive reuse of an existing building, which I think is a very good thing. There's a lot of environmental benefits for that. We've upgraded made it barrier free, which is a huge improvement for this building. We've done life safety upgrades that include the fire rated stair enclosures and the sprinklers, which make it a much safer building with a very modest addition, a very small addition to the building. We're increasing the energy efficiency in the building with all new equipment and all new lighting, you know, versus the type of equipment that was here in years past. We've made, I think we've made very good dramatic aesthetic improvements to the building. And we've used some of these patio spaces to transition some of the shapes of the building and relate to the other features of the building. And I think that covers the architectural part.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further affirmative questions of this witness. I turn them over to the board and members of the public.
You want to start with professionals or? Go ahead.
I have 2 issues that
are gonna relate into further testimony for your other businesses. The first, this is in the R15 zone. So this is an expansion of a non-conforming use and structure. Relating to the architecture that you just testified to, I think you need to relate it back to what the architecture is in a typical R15 zone. Does it look like a house? Does it act like a house? Are there features on, though it's a larger building, that it is, how does it relate to the master plan and the architecture that is in the surrounding area in the residential zone? That's question number one.
I guess, two things that I would respond to that. One, it's an existing building that's been there a long time. It's been a feature. It's part of the community, part of the space. It's a recognizable feature that we've been respectful for. Second, the shapes, the materials, and the things that we've done are very typical of a residential development. There's the slope roofs. There's, yes, did I upgrade it to making it look like a slate roof instead of a shingle roof? I think that's fine. The hardy panels on the walls, that's very typical. You see that going in all new buildings. The type of windows, you don't see big storefront windows in here. The glazings are all much like that. The doors are very much like that. The shutters on the side of the buildings. I think all the features and elements that we've put in here are what you would expect to see in a high-end residential neighborhood. And we've incorporated them, and we tried to incorporate and integrate them into the building, being respectful of what the building is, what it was, what the history of it is, and how it's fit into the neighborhood over the years. And I would say that the addition and the expansion that we put on, that the addition and the expansion has been really strictly for life safety improvements, for barrier-free improvements. We've limited it to the backside, not on the front. We've tried to incorporate those into the design of the building. We did, when I first took a shot at the building, I looked at integrating those into the center of the building, but to get those two elements, in particular, the elevator and stair, to be able to hit all the levels and deal with the existing structural limitations that we had in the building, I came to the conclusion, after looking at it myself and consulting our structural engineers, that it was infeasible, and the best place to deal with it and to facilitate those improvements that we really felt, and the ownership felt very strongly about, was to add it onto the building, and that on that back portion of it, where it would relate to the parking and those vertical circulation relate to the parking area, made the most front sense, and it didn't obstruct and disrupt the exterior image from the street fronts, which go to your point of the character of the R15 zone.
My next is really a recommendation.
Okay?
It relates to when you're dealing with a expansion of a non-conforming structure and use, the MLUL, which I know you're
Yes.
especially section 68, places the burden of proof on the applicant. You've testified a lot to the previous use, which I appreciate having your wedding there, so you have actually firsthand knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think relating to the proofs that you should be providing, especially as the architect, laying the groundwork for your planner, you really need to get into the details of estimating what that use was prior to seating capacity, what those rooms are used for. Because if you're proposing a use that is more intense in seating capacity, that is something that the board has to weigh into, and the key word is substantial, in order to consider whether they should grant this variance and whether it benefits the general welfare of that. So those numbers, I would recommend that the board request that they provide those numbers for the next hearing.
Unless you know them now.
And
I
think
think he's asking the question is, what was the previous capacity,
What
seating capacity?
I don't know the exact number. I testified to what my recollection was, and in general terms, what I felt it was. I certainly, I can, I don't know that unless we somehow get with the old owners,
Based on
but
what I heard,
I could,
based on what I
yeah.
heard, extrapolated that there's probably less, but I think you need hard numbers.
I think what we're going to conclude, okay, is that there's going to be less seating inside the building, okay? That the seating that we have outside the building wasn't there before unless it was done outside on some of the patios and lawn areas that were out there, which they weren't doing that at the time that I went there,
And I
but
apologize, I missed
but
that
I'm pretty
earlier.
sure they did that after that.
I missed some of the earlier testimony. What was that rough estimate that you had given?
What I said before is that on the main floor, that my wedding was 125 and we didn't use the full space, that I believe that space could generate probably in the 150, 160 area. Okay, and that downstairs, I thought that space, when it was just a big open space set up as a banquet, it would probably be in the 75 to 100 area. That's my recollection from years ago, and looking at the space, just a thumbnail, that I think that's what I'm going to conclude it as. If I
can
go
just-
through,
I know the basement can carry 60 because I had my daughter's communion.
okay, and was it full?
No, it was not full.
So I think my assessments, the building codes goes and says we can fit one person per 15 square feet. So, for tables and chairs. So I certainly can go and take it, and that presumably would be what it would be CO'd for. That would be certainly a good basis. I could go and take that big open area, divide it by 15. I could provide that number for you.
I think a calculation showing
Yep.
what was and what you're proposing gives the board the information
Yep.
to handle that portion of the proof schedule.
Yes, but that's where I think it is. And I probably shouldn't be talking just off the top of my head, but I qualified it accordingly.
Perhaps we can get some of this information for this from construction department, building department, okay, as to
Fire prevention.
and with the fire department as well, in terms of,
Occupancy load.
yeah, what it was. So, prior CO,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Anthony, you have anything?
The only question I have is, can you talk about any plans for ventilation of the cigar lounge? Air purification system, what do you have?
We haven't really designed that yet. I mean, there'd be some kind of filtered system that we would put in there. And we vent it out. My guess is what's going to happen in there, since we have the third floor above it, which is just office and storage space, that I would probably, not take up floor area down there with it, or place something on the outside, that we put some kind of freestanding unit up there with filtration and have a louver going out through the attic or something. That's in my mind how we've done, but we have not designed that yet. But I do have that whole third floor space that's available for me for mechanical uses as needed.
To be able to mitigate odors
Yep.
and
Yeah.
and such.
And I would imagine that the equipment would have some sort of noise or code in other words, any fan or ventilation would be restricted by some sort of a code.
There's state noise codes about what kind of decibel levels you can have at the property
Correct.
line. I don't expect we're so far from the property line with the buildings and where the mechanical equipment is. I can't
it would
imagine
probably
that
be
any of the
less than
equipment
the
we'd specify would be even close to it.
Would be less than the exhaust fans for the kitchens. I would
Yes,
imagine.
absolutely.
And then I guess that outdoor lounge, you envision smoking there over your main entrance? Is that
That would be up to
up to
ownership.
the owner? It just seems like an odd place, right? If you go in and get food, I don't know. Just something to think about.
Somebody needs to go to Jamie's.
Right?
I said someone needs to visit Jamie's. It's a restaurant in Clifton. Anybody on the board have any questions?
for the architects.
I do.
And Mr.
The
Pamela?
open dining on, day 5. They have all this beautiful brick on the, front side of the building, and we just left the, those 3 windows on the left-hand side. Should have covered in the same substance.
We have the stone base on it. You know what, we didn't particularly want to overwhelm it. I mean, I'll have a chat with the owner about it.
And is that the stucco part that
Yes,
you spoke of?
yeah, we've had some discussions about maybe putting hardy there as well. So it's gonna be one of the two.
That's probably more of a designer thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sanjeev? Sal?
No question.
Motion to open to the public for this witness?
We take a 10-minute break, it's now almost 2 hours.
I'm sorry. It's only been an hour. Let's take 5 minutes and then we'll allow the public to have questions for the witness.
Kim, you're good, Kim?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we're back on.
We're ready, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to ask everybody to start thinking about their calendars. If we can't make it through today, which I don't foresee happening, of maybe a potential special meeting. We've got kind of a busy calendar coming up before the end of the year. We've got a bunch of holidays. So, we haven't really made a decision yet, but we're just talking about it. So kind of kick around your calendars to see if there's a time frame that may work. We'd have to notice for it.
Of course.
And we already have, an application coming up that's gonna carry into a special meeting as well, so.
Yeah.
Probably tomorrow, maybe Clarice will chat with your office and try to see if there's a date that we could coordinate.
That's fine. Mr. Chairman, we also, I did poll my experts and December 16th, everyone is available. I don't know if that meeting is available on your end.
I'm
But
not
if-
sure what's on that calendar
Right,
yet.
I understand. And if we push to a special, that's absolutely fine as far as the applicant is concerned.
Good. Where were we? Opening to the public for the witness.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Anyone from the public have any questions for the witness? This would be just a cross-examining, right? Not a comment time. We'll get time to comment at the end.
First name Brent, last name Preisendorf, Prisendorf, 19 Crossfield Court. Based on your testimony, there's no current outdoor seating on the second floor, is that correct, for the current structure?
Right, and not that I'm aware of.
There's no food on the second floor for your proposed structure?
That's what the owner testified to.
Okay, and then you testified that the cigar lounge area, there would be opening windows for fresh air.
Yeah, that we're planning on having those windows to be able to open, and that's the lounge that's on the street, the Prospect Avenue side.
That's the one.
On the Prospect Avenue side of the building.
And Mr. Chairman, you said I can't make a comment to the board?
Comments would be at the end.
Okay.
Right.
All
It's
right.
just, it's a time to cross-examine the witness.
Okay, that'll be all.
Thank you.
Hi, Anne Marie Borelli, Crestfield, 18 Crestfield Court.
Ms. Borelli, if you could just try to project a little bit so the members at home and people listening can hear.
Sure. Okay. You had said that the original, Woodcliff Manor, could hold approximately 200, you said, right?
I think what I said is that, that my guess was probably a little higher than that. I think my guess was that the main floor would be about 150, okay? And the basement level was probably somewhere between the 75 to 100, which would be my guess without doing all that calculation. So it's
Approximately.
225 to 250, yes.
Okay. And the new capacity for this new building would be 343. Now,
And that's-
343, that's people that are sitting, right? And that's, now the Woodcliff Manor was just events, right? You had your wedding there.
Yes,
It was just an event. They didn't have, a running restaurant as well, right? So it was
my
just-
knowledge.
it was just the flow of people coming to an event, right? And
Yes.
so this 343 capacity would be for people coming to an event, plus people coming for dinner. And I don't think, does it include people who just want to come to the bar as well?
Yeah, that's all seats.
So there's 343 with bar seats as
I think,
well?
yeah, I think the 343, what that encompasses is it encompasses 269 seats within the building. And the seats within the building would be the restaurant seats, the seats down in the basement, in the party rooms, the bar seats, the library seats, the cigar lounge seat, and all, all the seats combined. And then there was an additional 74 outdoor seats. I think in there, particularly in some of those spaces, those seats don't happen at the same time. Like for instance, down in the basement, more than likely, not say it's all the time, but more than likely, if someone was having an event, they would be seated in the party rooms And then they would maybe go out to the bar to get a drink and, seat. So there's, there was, I think, 60 and 17. So I don't know, I counted it as 77. Should the count really be 60? Because you're not going to be sitting at two spots at once. I think that's sort of an evaluation. And I think some of the parking and traffic consultants look at that and see where the overlap might be.
Okay, but the use of space is going from a few events a week to 7 day a week, lunch and dinner business. Right?
The restaurant, yes.
All right, I have another question. The extension in the back on the north side, in the backyard in the north side, how many feet does the extension allow?
I don't get that exact number. I can tell you it's about 14 or 15. That whole addition, the largest footprint of it is 690 square foot footprint. So I know a stair is about 8 feet wide, and I look at it and say the lobby is probably another 7 feet on that. So I'd say it goes about 15 feet out from the end of the existing building.
Okay. You are aware that there's a house with the bedrooms overlooking on the north side.
Yes.
Bedrooms, and there's houses on Crestfield Court on the west side with their bedrooms overlooking the parking lot. So you are aware of
Yep,
that, right?
very aware of that.
Will so sitting on that deck, that cigar deck on the outside, right, in the back? So sitting at that, is the eye line sitting there at those tables on the deck? Or where, are you calling it a deck, an outdoor deck?
Yeah, I think we're going factor, whatever it is, we're calling just outdoor rooftop seating.
Okay, so sitting there with the eye line being directly into the windows of the house on the north and the houses on the west?
I would have to look at the topography and see, maybe,
And also the porch in the front, is very beautiful, the porch in the front. The west side of the porch would also be, would be in full view of the house directly across on the west side as well.
I think it's far enough away, there's screening and landscaping along that side, I think,
What do you consider far away? Consider that.
well, it's on the other side, the houses are on the other side of the street,
One at a time.
The houses are on the other side of the street, and then there's, there's parking spaces in a driveway there. There's
I don't know, I saw the plans, I didn't see parking on
there's
that.
angled
entrance.
parking,
On
there's
the
angled,
entrance.
there's angled.
Can't
talk over each other.
One at a time, and you have to let each other
So
finish.
my question
your
is
statement.
there parking on the driveway on the west side? I'm sorry, the east side, on the east side.
Called the site plan?
There is.
There is, it's angled parking and a drive aisle.
So you have the houses on the east side on Crestfield Court that would look directly at the people sitting outside, both in the front and then the back, on that back. So if their eye line is directly into the windows, and this is across the street, you can see it's just across the street, right? It's not really that far. Because I don't know what you consider far.
I
It's subjective.
consider that a pretty good distance with landscaping and distance flow and the railing there and so on. Yeah.
Another question, right? The condensers, you said are gonna be in the back and you said they're gonna be dug into the well, right?
Right.
So
Going to be what?
dug into the well. So how much sound will that prevent from the neighbor, the houses close by from hearing this? So the condensers would be running
Those-
nonstop, right?
They're going to be, no, they cycle, but they, the condensers are gonna be, you're more likely to hear your neighbor's air conditioning condenser than you're likely to hear these.
Okay, the cigar lounge upstairs, which by the way, my son is excited about.
Okay.
The cigar lounge, you talked about filtration. Are the neighbors in close proximity, are they going to smell the
No,
cigar smoke?
No,
No?
no, too far away.
Again, could be subjective, right? Okay. Another question. Now, you talked about the banquet facilities down in the lower level.
I
right?
said, well, there's dining facilities down there, but
Okay.
it's broken up into smaller rooms and so on. I think that I think that how that's likely to be marketed, it'd be more for party rooms and so on, you know, and they're relatively small. I think they're like 20 seats per room or something like that, with the ability to expand into it. So it'd be for, you know, I would think that, you know, showers, office parties, you know, birthday parties, those type of functions.
So if they were to rearrange and put bigger tables in, would that increase the capacity?
We're designing it for just this number of seats, and we're stipulating and get the site plan approval will say it's this many seats, and the CO would be that many seats.
Okay.
So if you could fit more, you're not allowed to, and you wouldn't likely. Is it possible that they would maybe put more in one room and take them out of the other room? I think that's, you know, that maybe is possible, but I don't think you're gonna see more people than that, you know, in the facility. And quite frankly, like I said, I think that there's a lot of redundancy in the seats. And I don't see that you ever having that many people in there at the same time, because it'd be going, the person in the little cigar room is gonna go over and sit in the bar when he's done with the cigar, you know, so it's, you know, is that 2 seats or is it 1 seat? You know, that's how you analyze it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Alex Kudov, 18 Crestfield Court. Thank you. So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
By the way, I like your ideas, some good ideas, just a
Good.
couple questions.
Good, thank you.
Who plans the fences? Do you plan the fences or somebody else?
Landscape architect and the engineer plan the fences.
So the fences play a big part of sound reduction, correct, and privacy?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll address that. Right?
They'll be speaking to you later, maybe not this evening, but
Let's be optimistic.
well, maybe this evening.
You aware of the noise variance at what time? What time we can't make noise?
Yeah, well, I forget the numbers off the top of my head, but there's one threshold for during the day.
Yes.
And then after 10 o'clock at night, it drops by 10 decibels. I forget if it's 55, 65 or 65, 75.
Yeah, I mean,
But yes, I'm aware of it.
there is like during the week, it's at 7 PM. You can't be cutting the grass.
Yep.
Friday and Saturday, 6 and 5 PM.
Yep.
Okay, so my question is, so you don't impair the neighbors, did it occur to you to maybe on the east side of the outdoor dining areas that didn't exist, the outdoor areas? Maybe put a glass barrier, permanent glass barrier facing the east side on the
You know,
front one, so to reduce the noise. to
you
the
know,
neighbors.
we did not have that specific conversation. But my opinion is that balcony up there on that side there is very small and limited, and there's only a few seats. You know, we put it, the 2 tops up there, it's in that lounge area, and there's going to be no music out there. I see that being as a space where it's gonna be more casual conversation. And I don't see that creating any kind of, you know, any more of a noise issue than 2 or 3 neighbors getting together in their front yard, on their front porch or in their backyard and having a normal conversation. It's not a big intensive use spot.
Okay, but having lived in the Crestfield Court for over 20
Yes.
years, just to give you some suggestions, and maybe somebody
Okay.
else can take. I would recommend the outdoor areas with open glass area, so the noise doesn't go to the people in the east side, and then on the new entrance, that glass area, also part of the glass, so you'd have a third open to the open air, but the 2/3 is protecting the neighbors. Basically, there's a neighbor across Prospect Street,
Okay,
would protect their noise and would get less arguments to get it.
okay, I'll be happy to talk to the ownership about it and discuss that or maybe some other
Would be a
possible
much,
issue.
much easier to get your approvals without fighting that. So
Okay, yeah,
take the people's privacy and the noise consideration, noise concerns and consideration.
okay, I understand. I appreciate the
Thank you.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Borinsky,
What is this?
Mayor, Ravini, Borinsky, BAR-Y, 10 Crystal Court,
What is it?
10 Crystal Court.
Thank you. Thank you.
So with all due respect, your estimates regarding the prior current
Mhm.
space and seating capacity, you were relying sort of on your eyeball view of the space available, how many seats you could possibly squeeze in there. I don't think that's really relevant in the context of this discussion. I think we're more interested in what was the actual permitted use, the approval. According to Google, it's 200. So if that's true, I'm not saying it's 100% true because internet. You were proposing like a 70% increase from 200 to 340 feet, right?
Okay, yeah, I based my opinion on what I recall and my knowledge of the size of the space and what these spaces generally you can do. Like I said, I didn't do the specific calculation. I certainly can, and I can lay out seating on it and
I think
establish it, you know, but yes,
Well, I'm just stating that, with all due respect, that's irrelevant.
okay,
What's relevant is how it was actually used, what it was approved for, 200. And you were increasing this by 70%.
Well, we're gonna get the actual on what the occupancy
Yes.
load was, and then we'll know exactly what that number is, as the planner had stated earlier.
Right, and possibly what you had on file in.
Correct, right.
The other question is, you discussed kitchen and how the rooms are organized. What about handling of trash and the outside? You're rendering pictures that there's no trash containers.
so
anywhere?
yeah, I think the engineer is going to address that. I think that the ownership sort of addressed it briefly, that there's a, you know, and the engineer is going to testify to that there's in the back of the, back in the south west side or northwest side, there's a container, you know, for the trash, you know, and that, you know, I said that we had some stairs off the kitchen where it could get taken out, it'd be taken to that trash container. And then I think the owner testified to that there would be several days a week, it would get picked up within certain hour limits. I think it was 8 to 10 in the morning.
So trash will be collected at.
I believe ownership testified 8 to 10 in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's correct,
And this at northwest or.
Right
right here.
there. That's northwest corner. That's- Okay,
Also regarding previous comment to the outside seating area, I would say that screening is necessary. In other words, your guests will not be open to view like you were on top of the hill, you know, beautiful Hudson River. They just drive out. My neighbor's pool out. My windows are.
Okay.
So there has to be screening. In other words, they wouldn't be looking out for a view, they would be looking out windows.
okay, I appreciate that. I'll discuss that with the ownership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public have any comments? No. Motion to close the public. All in favor? Thank you, Mr. Architect.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to call our site engineer, Matthew Greco.
That would be great.
Thank you. Would you like to swear?
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and spell your name and your business address?
Matthew Greco, last name is Greco. My business address is 169 Ramapo Valley Road, Oakland, New Jersey.
Thank you. Mr. Greco, if you would be kind enough to provide the board with your qualifications and licenses, so we qualify you as an expert in the field of engineering.
Yes, of course. I'm a graduate of with a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I've been working in the field for over 30 years, currently 30 years with McNally Engineering, which I'm still at, and I'm a principal with McNally Engineering. I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey for professional engineering. And I've testified in front of this board, I believe, quite a few years ago for Tice once, quite a few years ago.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to.
We would accept.
Thank you very much. Mr. Greco, would you describe the existing site conditions today?
Yes, absolutely. You want to pull up, can we pull up the survey?
Sure.
Survey.
No. Okay, we don't have a survey, my fault.
All right. Well, we'll pull up the site plan and we could use that, and which is there, which should be fine. It in basic terms, the building, which obviously was talked about already by the architect, is minor addition put out the back of the building, but in generally it's in the same location what's there today. The drive aisles, the driveways are in roughly the same location that we're proposing that are out there today. The only difference is the size of the drive aisles. We're going to do some reconfiguring of that to make them code compliant. The parking area, the main parking area that's out there today is to the rear of the building, with parking along both the east, existing along the east and along Crestfield Avenue, all the way to that existing parking there is today. On the west side of the boundary is also existing parking for most of that line along that southern boundary in the west. We are adding some parking to the, which we'll get into later when I get into the site plan. But in general, what you see there is roughly what's out there today, with some additions to the buildings, obviously, which was talked about, and some minor additions and some parking areas that we'll talk about. There is a garage that was mentioned that was in the back. It's way up against, it's right on the rear property line, which would be to the north property line. That will be coming down. There's right up in that corner, there's a, not just to the right of that, actually, that's a concrete pad that's also coming out. That's right in the left, in the corner there. That's going to be coming out. The garage is right where you're showing it, correct? So basically what you see, you know, what we're doing today is mimicking what's there. We just improved on it substantially for our purposes and for this use.
Could you go into the proposed site improvements?
Yes, absolutely. So talking again with the driveways where they were, the driveway to the east, which is only 20 feet wide, I believe that was used as a two-way driveway. It had to have been, which is undersized. So we're converting that only now to a driveway ingress only in, okay? There'll be no exits out of that driveway. That'll be only in. The parking along that east side of the property, we will maintain the same distances in terms of to the property line of where that parking is. We're just going to change the angle of that parking to get the proper stall sizes. The stalls out there today are all undersized. They're roughly 8 feet wide by 16 feet long. We're going to make them all 9 by 18. All the parking stalls, the standard parking stalls on the property, will be 9 foot wide by 18 foot in depth. So we adjusted the parking angle of those a little bit so we can get a longer length to match, to get to the 18 foot and maintain at a minimum 13 foot drive aisle through the narrowest point towards the rear of the building. All right. The eastern driveway, I'm sorry, the western driveway, which is currently at its smallest point, only 10 feet wide. Clearly, it's not accessible for
two-way traffic. So we're expanding that. It's roughly in the same spot. We're expanding it to 24-foot wide so we can have in and out of that driveway. That would be the main entrance, obviously. So that was a major improvement to make sure we got access to the site with proper driveway widths. As you come in, we have some parking that we've added on that curve as it curves to the left. And again, on that south, I guess it will be the southwest corner, we've added parking along the front there and some of the side of the south property line as well. From there, we've continued with the existing parking that you can see along that southern boundary, the western boundary. All along there, we've continued exactly where that existing parking is today. The only difference, again, we're making them 18-foot wide, and we're getting all two-way drive aisles will be all 24-foot minimum to comply with current standards. All the way to the rear, which would be to the north, we're adding the 30 valet parking only spaces. Those 30 spaces up against against the north area there would only be used for valet parking, shown there. Again, they will all be 9 by 18. What we did was reconfigure the interior aisle parking aisle, instead of being in north south direction, we configured it to an east-west direction to better gain some efficiency and more parking spaces. All of this was in a goal to, one, make sure everything is compliant with current standards in drive aisles and parking stalls, but also to improve as much as possible the efficiency and the amount of parking we can get on the site. We also added, as you can see, as you get closer to the building, there was no ADA parking that we could find on the site. We're adding 5 ADA parking spaces to be code compliant with the ADA codes. There will be, and they're directly opposite the rear new entrance that we'll be putting in, that will all have ramps and sidewalks and code compliant with ADA as well. As you can see, we also added quite a bit of islands in there where we could at the end of some of the parking aisles. We've increased the amount of open space on the property by doing that within the parking lot. So
How would valet work? When valet's in operation, how would the people enter and how would they valet their vehicles?
Well, I believe the people could come in either the eastern driveway and pull up in front into the aisle in front there, and they would have valet pick them up there, take their vehicles and take them, take the parking to the valet parking, and the people could walk directly into the building, which is right next to the front entrance is where the valet is. So I believe that's out of valet, but again, the owner rep could speak better about how that.
Meaning that the cars would queue up at the end of the building, not at the beginning.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah. Right along those existing parking spaces that are proposed, yeah.
Any additional parking improvements, curbs? How about stormwater drainage?
Yes, quite a bit. There's virtually no stormwater on the site today. There are fuel inlets. It's unclear where they go, what they do. There's certainly doesn't appear to be any detention system, any modern system out there for storm sewers. We're putting curbs throughout. Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be some.
Any real stormwater management system on the property today. We are proposing a whole new stormwater management system along with curbing throughout the entire parking area to control that stormwater, contain it and collect it and provide it some sort of stormwater treatment, which will be located in the front beneath the
Which would be located
in the front parking area, below ground, below surface. So.
Turning now to GV1.
Correct.
To show the stormwater management system in the front part of the slot area.
Okay, just for the record, he was testifying about SP1. Now we're gonna move to GV1. Okay.
One of the other main improvements that we were making to the parking lot is we are regrading the parking lot, which for one reason, it causes part of the reasons why we're disturbing so much property. Normally, we just go in and resurface the existing parking areas if they would, and would not constitute a disturbance. However, the grades in that rear parking area in some areas exceed 8%, which is not desirable for a parking area. And in fact, your code's limited to 6%, I believe, in the parking areas. So to fix that issue, we had to regrade that rear parking area to a 5% max, so a slope. So that'll be under your 6%, and we think that's very efficient, will work very well for this project. To make that happen, we had to add 2 retaining walls because we were cutting on one side of the parking lot and filling on the other side to try to balance and level out the parking lot. So along the eastern boundary near Crestfield, there'll be a small retaining wall, no more than 4 feet high, and it's more towards the rear, from the rear of the building towards the back parking a little bit. So maximum height of 4 feet for that retaining wall. So the parking level will actually be below the grade of the street, and certainly be more blocked. There was some discussion about seeing the vehicles and seeing from the neighbors, so they won't be able to see them.
Where's the retaining wall gonna be and what?
Right, see where his cursor is, right along that eastern boundary, right in that area. There's a retaining wall there. So those grades there are sunken down roughly 4 feet below what's out there today.
So what's the distance for that retaining wall?
The length of
The
it?
length of it, yes.
I'll estimate maybe 60 feet in that area. I can get you exact numbers on that.
Does that wall start right around where the island is?
That's correct.
On the east side?
Yes.
And
You
that-
see,
that reads top of wall
That-
100.
that's correct.
Bottom of wall 99. Top of wall 100, bottom of the wall 99.
that's
The
correct.
start of it,
Yes,
and then that runs northbound.
yes.
And where's the 4-foot mark that you mentioned?
Well, if you look at the detail for the retaining wall, that would be the concrete retaining wall. Right there, you can show it. Can you zoom in to there, to the back a little bit?
Parking lot water is running to the.
There, actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It is actually 3 foot high maximum.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And then there's a fence on top, obviously, and we'll talk about the fence. We're putting a fence around the entire perimeter of the property. For that, certainly that'd be for safety, but as well, privacy as well.
No time like the present. Let's talk about the fence.
Yeah. The fence were actually, I think it'll be on the landscape plan. I want to pull that up.
I don't want to stop this flow. It feels like you're talking about, I don't know if you're talking about water still or not, but I want to keep you moving in the direction you want to go.
We can talk about where the other retaining wall is, and we'll stay back to that if you want. But again, with the grades and to adjust the grades and to add some of that parking near the front, which would be the southwest corner of the property, there's a smaller retaining wall there in terms of length. And you can see the top and bottom wall numbers there as well, kind of the bottom of that parking.
Down here?
Yeah, go down, yeah, right in there. If you see, yes, you can see it in there. There's a small retaining wall there. That one is 4 foot high, maximum. Right. That'll be constructed slightly different. It's the other one's a concrete wall. That'll be a modular stone wall, this one over in this area. And again, that's only necessary to get the grades to be more reasonable for a parking area. Okay.
I'm sorry, you said that on the larger retaining wall, on that, there's gonna be a 4-foot fence, so it'll be like 7 foot down.
The fence is actually going to be, it's 5 foot privacy fence with a 1 foot of lattice on top. So overall, it's 6 foot.
And then
Okay.
up to 3, so you're not gonna see cars if they're pulling across that back wall.
No,
So
no,
you have
the
no-
cars will all be below that retaining wall, yeah.
And is all the water from this place running to block 2701 lot 3 right now?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, and to some out to the, to Prospect as well.
okay, so it's
So-
all running downhill and.
That's correct. Everything goes in a southwesterly direction, yes, now. So we're putting inlets throughout the site to collect all the stormwater from all the parking areas, all the driveways. We have 2 trench drains in the front as well to collect anything going out towards the street or Prospect. And from the roofs as well, will all be going into this underground detention system. We did get comments from the board's engineer on the detention system, and we can certainly address those comments that he has.
With regard to lighting, where would we discuss the lighting?
Yes, we're adding new LED lighting throughout the site in the parking areas. There'll be pole mounted mostly. There's one, I believe, one wall mounted on the east side of the building, correct, right in that area. The rest of them will be pole mounted LED. They're a 20-foot fixture height. The goal, right, is to try and limit obviously any light going off site to the residential, understanding there's residential all around this facility. We're trying to contain that light and keep it as much as possible. It has to be safe enough for the parking, obviously, but we don't want to expose and have any light that we don't need to spill off into the adjacent properties. So they're completely shielded. They can be controlled through all LEDs, so you can control the temperature of the lights, how bright they are, and what color they would look like. That all can be controlled. I'm not sure the hours. We heard the hours of operation, but I assume the lights would, I believe the owner's rep responded that they would be shutting off approximately the time they would be closing. So
With safety lighting, obviously, to remain overnight, just minimal safety lighting. How about the fencing?
Yes, so again, we're extending fencing around the perimeter of the property. Would be the east, the north, and the west side of the property line. Again, that perimeter fencing is a total of 6 foot high. We're proposing 5 foot of it to be completely privacy or PVC. The upper foot would be a lattice style, which would allow some light and some air to move through it to get through as well. So that would be 5 foot, and that, again, that's around the entire 3 property boundaries there, which would be adjacent to all the residential properties.
You have a visual of the fence?
I believe there is a detail on a LA1 plan, landscaping plan. Yep, that's it right there. So perimeter fence detail.
It's just a detail, so don't you get on the right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next to it is what the refuse enclosure detail will look like. So the refuse enclosure would be 5 foot without the lattice on top. So that would be completely above the dumpster that would be in the refuse area and shielded.
And did you say that fencing will be on top of the retaining wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the east side, yes. Okay. And then I guess, yes, we would also have I believe on the west side too. Not mention it. Let me just double check on that. We could pull up the grading and drainage plan.
Looks like the wall.
Yeah, I guess you look to put a fence.
Got it on the site.
So that, no, the fencing would be on the bottom side, adjacent to the property line on the west side as well.
So it would not be.
Would not be on top of the wall.
On the west.
Yeah.
Right. West side.
Just briefly speak to the outdoor seating area in the front yard with the walkway and the fire pit.
Yes.
Decorative feature.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, that's all just a gravel walkway through there to be a lawn area. There's sidewalk leading to it, a concrete hard sidewalk leading to it, but The walkways in there would just be gravel, so the pea gravel is what we're looking about. We have some chairs in there with a fire pit, and that'll be heavily landscaped, as you can see, and also to the front
Which
towards.
sheet's that?
That's on a landscape plan, LA.
LA1.
Landscape architect can probably speak a little bit more to that as well.
Leslie, can we talk about the circulation analysis that we provided, TT1? TT1? Would you just take the board through your turning analysis?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the bottom of the sheet, the three across the bottom there. You open up. Yeah, hang on, just waiting for everybody to open up. Okay, all right. On this sheet, the three details you see are the analyses across the bottom of the sheet. Those were the turning analysis. One is for a fire truck to get through the site. As you can see, you can maneuver completely through the site and out. There is also a refuse truck can get through the site as well and load and unload and depart, as well as a loading truck vehicle for the loading area. It's in the rear corner of the building there. So all of those function quite well. No issues, and we could get through the site with no issues at all with the vehicles that are needed to be.
There was an issue with the line of sight distance that we originally had depicted on this plan, and we provided an exhibit. So before we move to the exhibit,
Yeah,
discuss.
yes, so on the top there, yes, that's the line of sight exhibit or detail that we did for this. We used a line of sight based on a speed limit for that roadway of 35 miles per hour. The board engineer correctly pointed out that we should be using the design speed limit of 35 and corrected the distances for those site distances. We've created, since then, we've looked at that and prepared an exhibit that proves that we can meet those distances as well, that the board's engineer suggested we utilize. To further that, I also would say that we not only meet those distances, we greatly exceed them. Looking to the east, from our exit driveway, we can see to, I believe it's called Lynn Terrace, the second street up to the east or the next street up from Crestfield, I believe. There's a crest in the hill there, so you can see all the way to that, which is, we measured it a little over 460 feet. That would be to the east. To the west, you can actually see all the way to Broadway, which is roughly 600 feet from the driveway. So great, site distance is not an issue whatsoever. We can comply with the required codes for that.
Mr. Princiotto, I've just marked this exhibit. This was a new exhibit provided. I marked it as 812, line of sight exhibit. Now just go back to the site plan. I would ask you to go through the zoning at the site and just discuss the variances that are required.
Yes. Okay. So in the zone, which is the R15 zone, residential zone, obviously, we know the lot area is 15,000 square feet required. Our site has 70,348 square feet, so obviously it's quite large. And
I'm sorry, just to interrupt. That 812, is that, did you hand that out?
It was not provided and we don't have any handouts. We didn't print, do we have copies of it?
for the
Is the line of sight exhibit?
yes.
We do have copies to distribute.
Yeah.
Is that a modified version? 'Cause
It
the one
is.
we have has.
Correct, it is, and it's modified to show that we do meet and exceed, meet the requirements as
Yes.
mentioned by your board engineer.
Yes. Like to pass them out?
And again, what's being passed out is 18.
Right, thank you.
While we're
Okay.
passing those around, if we would continue discussing
Sure.
the zoning table.
So the next item on the zoning requirement is lot frontage, which is 100 feet. The existing is 238.45, which obviously we're not changing. We're not changing the lot size, so that stays the same at 238.45. Lot,
Is 200.
238.45 feet. Lot depth at 100 is required to be at 100 feet. Existing and proposed is 315.98 feet. Unchanged. Building coverage required is, maximum required is 15%. Existing is 7.09%. That would be reduced slightly under proposed conditions to 7.06%. And the reason for that is we do have a little building addition going on, but we're also taking down the shed, the large garage, I'm sorry, that's at the rear of the property.
How disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that,
That's a better.
yeah, yeah. I thought that would be. Total surface coverage in the zone is required at 40%. The existing is 69.06%. We are proposing 75.3% and requesting a variance for that increase. And again, that is in due in part to the additional parking that we added to the front southwest corner of the property, as the majority of that was where that comes from. All right, and that was necessary to try to increase the amount of parking on the site.
But the existing surface coverage has zero drainage.
For the most part, yes. Yes, there are one or two drains, very small and unclear where they go, if they do anything.
So even though that you're increasing the surface coverage, you anticipate much better drainage.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna stop all runoff from the site almost completely from all the proposed areas, all the developed areas. We're gonna collect it all and contain that completely, and we will comply with the state stormwater management codes as the engineer has requested that we do. So there, not only would it be detained, there'll be some groundwater recharge. We're gonna reduce runoff considerably from this site. Considerably. It'll be completely controlled.
So where was all the water going? Just down onto Broadway?
My guess is towards Prospect and the neighbors to the south. Just from the terrain out there. Terrain, the existing terrain.
Building height?
Okay. Building height and stories. So required is 30 feet and 2.5 stories. The existing is 37.1 feet or 2 stories. We are proposing 45.58 feet with 2.5 stories. Again, a variance is being requested for that as well.
Front, not, and you might not be able to answer this, but do you know like the area that will encompass the height variance?
Yes, I think the architect spoke with that. That would be just the elevator tower
Right.
and the stair tower that's adjacent to it in the rear of the building. Those are the only components that are being increased in height.
Do you know how many square feet that is?
I do not know that.
Right, just to touch on the height again, the rest of the elevations on the roof lines, are they changing or they're?
I believe they are all staying as they are.
What goes up?
200, okay, so I'm just being told by the architect is 215 square feet for the elevator and stair tower in area.
At the third floor, at the
The
third floor up.
Yeah. Any other roof lines? Increasing in it? All the roof lines are staying exactly as they are, yeah. Okay, so move on to front yard, required again is 35 feet. Existing and proposed, that's not changing at all, that'll be 83.3 feet, so it's considerably back, 83.3 feet. And that's what it is out there today, and we're proposing the same. You're not changing that. Side yards, 20 foot each, 40 foot total. Existing and proposed will stay at 34 feet and 122.1 feet total. And rear yard, which is 30 feet, will be existing as 180.9 feet. We're proposing 172.5 feet. Still well within the code. All right.
That's the rear of the building addition then is 8 feet.
Yes,
That's what's changed.
yes.
In regard to the parking requirements,
Yes, so we currently have 85 parking spaces on the site. So based on the parking code, which is one parking space for each 2 seats, we have 343 seats. That along with 30 employees, which is one parking space for each employee, the total required parking is 202 parking spaces. In the code. The proposed number of parking spaces is 124 parking spaces. So we're asking we need a variance for that. Parking total.
any other variance conditions before we move on?
Could you give us those numbers again? Sounded a little.
They're on
The-
the, yeah.
The required number of seats is, the number of seats is 343. Right? So you need one space for each 2 seats. For that, and then plus
That's
the,
170.
and then you have well, a little more than that, but, and then you have one for each employee. There's 30,
It's 200.
30 employees, so we have 202 parking spaces that are required.
And you're gonna have 128,
And we have 124 that we're proposing.
so aren't you under par?
Yes.
We are. We're requesting a variance.
To increase it to,
I'm sorry.
to increase the parking to how much?
They need a variance because they can't meet the parking requirement.
Oh, you're gonna go all the way up to the 200 spots.
No, they require 200,
Yeah.
two, and they're proposing only 124, so they're short per our
80.
ordinance by 80 roughly.
But I understand that you're going to provide some type of stacked parking.
Yes,
That-
we have LA parking, and there's a traffic engineer that we have that can speak to that in the plan.
Okay,
and talk about
they're
that.
gonna stack some parking in the back. Is that where the valet parking?
That's correct.
Is?
Correct. That's the
Those
valet
spaces
parking.
are longer?
There's 30 valet spaces along the rear of the property. That's counted in the 124.
Right, but are they longer than the regular?
No, they're all 9 by 18, but they are stacked together. So
They're tens.
exactly.
But you have an engineer that'll speak to the parking specific.
Correct. We have a traffic engineer, and I don't believe we will get to her tonight, but we do have a traffic engineer.
Good, you understand?
Yeah, they're severely underparked.
According to our ordinances, it sounds like they're underparked by about 82 spots, or less than 76. Go ahead.
Mr.
Chairman, I have a question, because I don't think it's clear. What is the existing condition? What's parking is there and what capacity was the building at?
Understand, I don't know the capacity of the existing, what it was at, but I can tell you that the existing parking on the site there today is 85. So only 85 parking spaces out there today.
So you're increasing parking from 85 to 124.
124, that's correct. That's correct.
We don't know yet what the actual occupancy was.
There,
My point is.
And it was only, it was not a restaurant, it was a catering facility that presumably had valet parking during the event.
Do we know when it switched over
from a
restaurant to a catering hall? Because it was a restaurant all the way up into the 70s, from what I understand. Like, was that changed as a variance to change it to a catering hall? Because it was a restaurant way back when. Because it's. I'm just curious if anybody. I'm not sure, but the occupancy load is the occupancy load. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
whether it's a daily restaurant or it's a catering.
It's the same for a restaurant compared to a catering.
The current sign says both, okay, so when it was and how it changed, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know if I'm saying it's the same for a restaurant or a catering hall. It's one spot for 2 seats.
Well, we don't really, I think, have any zoning for catering halls or banquet halls, you know.
We barely have zoning for
Because
restaurants.
we don't.
I'm just curious.
This was, so our zoning doesn't cover banquet facility.
All right, let's have the
And this-
witness
this
continue his
probably-
testimony.
This pre-existed, probably the adoption zone.
Sure.
Any other variance conditions that we're requesting variance or design waivers for that, and then we could conclude?
Okay, well, yeah, just go through the variances again that we were requesting. I guess there's a non-conforming use in a residential zone. Surface coverage, total surface coverage, 40% is allowed, 69.09% is existing. We're requesting 75.3%. In building height, 30 feet is the maximum, with 2.5 stories. Existing is 37.1 feet, already exceeding it, and we will be increasing that to 45.58 feet at 2.5 stories. And no variance is requested for that. We have some design waivers that we're requesting. Encroachment in 30-foot residential side yard buffer, that would be on the west side of the property. And that is what we're requesting is 4.8 feet, which is existing. That's the existing parking that's there now. We're not changing that, so that's why that is still involved in this, even though we're keeping the same parking in that.
Keeping the same parking.
In that area, same location. Another waiver is encroachment in 30-foot residential rear yard buffer. Again, where 30 feet is required. 0 feet is existing, that's with the garage, and we're proposing 8 foot for that, so there's a waiver for that we're requesting. We're going from 0 to 8 feet. Requested a parking stall size, whereas the code requires 10 by 20. We were requesting a waiver to 9 feet by 18 foot in length. And the fourth one is in parking areas, at least 5% of the parking area should be landscaped. Currently, there is existing 0% landscaping in the central parking area, in the interior parking area. We are going to be adding 2.21%. So this is still a waiver. We're still under the required, but it's much better than what's out there today.
I believe that's it. That's it. Thank you.
I just want to clarify, I don't know if you missed it. Is our stall requirement 10 by 20 or 10 by 18?
It's 10 by 20. There is an allowance to go to 9 by 18 by the board.
Only because the drawing I'm looking at says the requested parking stalls over 180, which are measured at 19, okay. It says 180 square feet for some reason.
Yes, I think there's a typo in the code. That's
Well,
a
that would
typo.
be 10 by 18, but that's not 9 by 18, so I'm not sure which way it was going with it, okay. So our requirement is 10 by 20, you're proposing 9 by 18.
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear on that.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further affirmative questions of this witness. I turn them over to the board, members of the public.
Okay, I think first thing we'd like to hear from is our professionals. David, if you want to go first.
Based on your knowledge and design of the plan, are the proposed improvements from an engineering perspective, a benefit to the overall neighborhood site?
Oh, I believe significantly, they are. Just the driveways alone are inferior in width and access. One thing I did forget to mention though, on the western driveway, I did mention I'm sorry, the easternmost driveway. I believe that was the two-way driveway. I'm not sure because there's no signage out there to clarify that, but it is 20 foot wide. So I assume that was the only one that could be used for two-way traffic. And with that proximity to Crestfield, we felt that was a safety issue. So we eliminated the egress out of that driveway for that reason and converted it to ingress only to alleviate any issues that may be for that proximity to Crestfield. So that was a major change, changing the grades of the parking lot from as much as 8.3% to 5% is a significant improvement in parking, as well as the circulation through there. And then just opening up the aisles to be the correct size and the parking stalls all to be the correct size, 9 by 18, which is pretty standard throughout the industry. Makes for a much safer use of the property for vehicles, and the sidewalks that we're adding around the perimeter make it much safer for pedestrians as well. Yes.
What makes it safer, being 9 by 18 versus 10 by 20?
Not safer than 10 by 20, but what was out there is 8 by 8 foot wide by 16 foot
Oh,
length.
okay.
So it's better than what was there, what's there today.
Everything is better.
Yeah.
Anthony, you have comments?
Can you just talk a little bit about the improvements on Prospect Ave? You've got new curb and sidewalk there?
Correct. I apologize for left that out. So the sidewalk all along the front, the entire frontage will be replaced with new concrete sidewalk. All new curb ramps will be put in that'll be ADA compliant. The curbs leaving from the parking lot and the driveways will all have curb return, so that'll control all the runoff going through there. And again, there'll be ADA ramps added through there as well throughout there. Make sure they're all compliant.
You'll need to submit to Bergen County?
Correct. We'll need to submit to the Bergen County Planning Department for their approval, which they have jurisdiction over those driveways on the street. And then they'll look at the drainage as well, I'm sure. And also Bergen County Soil Conservation Service, which will be needed. Permit for the soil conservation, yes.
And then one, I guess, I have not a question, but I know the operator had talked about some low-level lighting at that patio on the front. One of the comments on our report, we asked for a photometric plan. If you could provide us with a photometric plan just to see the foot candles to make sure that you've got the right cutoffs and that
Absolutely.
the lighting's gonna meet the way you described it.
Yes, we will provide that.
And,
Absolutely.
if you could include that, whatever lighting is for that patio on that updated plan, then we can have it all in one place.
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
That's all I got.
What about snow removal on site? Any plans or locations for it, or?
Well, I believe snow removal will probably be located back towards the valet area. I'm
Now that the
guessing.
site is flat, is it a little easier for you to maintain snow on site, or?
Well, I don't know if that changes it much, quite honestly, but we'll certainly be able to, collect any of the rainwater when it does melt. That's for certain on that, so.
So where does the snow go? I guess this is the question.
I mean, because if we do get snow, you could lose some parking spaces. That's why I was asking. So I don't know if you have a spot like this back corner. I don't know if what's going in there next to the refuge area. Or any of the islands, I guess, could be used for snow plowing.
Yeah, there'll be, that's correct. Some of it could be pushed up against the back, which would be the northwest corner, where currently there's a concrete pad that'll be removed. That'll be open space, we're proposing there, as well as the northeast area as well. And some of it could go in the front as well, towards Prospect and that open space area adjacent to the parking. One other improvement I would like to make for safety, I want to just point out to it, I forgot to mention, on the existing parking, the angled parking on that eastern driveway as you're going in, we removed that first 2 parking stalls, and we removed them from, only because they're too close to the entrance. And if somebody was backing out of those spaces, they'd be possibly queuing out into the street. So by removing them, should eliminate that and should be able to queue at least 2 cars there now, at least 1 to 2 cars in there. And the state keep it in the driveway rather than sticking out into the street. So that was one of the changes we made to the driveway as well.
And
for safety.
all of those spots look to be at a little bit more of a more severe angle.
Yes, we changed the angle on them from 60 degrees to 45 degrees. So that we could get the proper length in the parking
That's how you
stall.
got to the.
That's how we got to the 18-foot length from 16 foot. And still maintain a correct drive aisle, yeah.
I was hoping we could at least get through him. Do you want, so we typically, 10:30, we would call it the meeting. I don't know what you have on plan for the rest of the evening. You want to finish with this witness or you want to start another one, but sounds like the board would be amenable to a small extension for the evening if you think you can get one more witness in.
Well, our next witness would be a landscape architect here, or we can go to a traffic expert. I think we'd hold traffic until next time. It's gonna be a lengthy segment. Landscape architect, we could probably get done relatively quickly if you'd like to move through that. But if you want to complete the site engineer, we can.
100%.
But he will be back.
I'm just gonna ask if I can get an approval from the board to extend the meeting for a half an hour so we can hear the landscape architect.
Until 10:30?
It's gonna go to 10, doesn't it go to 10:30 already?
I thought it
Oh,
was-
we're already past,
Yeah.
sorry.
Right.
Alright.
I'd rather finish up that, personally, I'd rather finish up that questions and start with the public with the engineering next time.
And start with the landscape engineer next time, okay, so then let's just get a meeting extension granted so that we could finish this with.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can we get that motion, because technically.
Wait, oh.
Motion. Second would be.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry about that. I thought we were actually going to 11.
Oh.
So. You know. I was assuming, yeah, sorry about that. I know.
I did notice that, we didn't notice.
Anybody else on the panel, on the board have any other questions?
Yes, I do. So you've been an engineer in New Jersey for over 30 years and have extensive experience, I guess, with restaurants.
I have some.
catering Facilities.
Yes.
Have you ever suggested an engineering plan where the restaurant catering facility is 38% underparked?
Well, I can tell you that I've been in front of plenty boards with variances for parking for restaurants and many other commercial uses throughout New Jersey.
To this extent, I mean, 8% is huge.
Can I ask one question to kind of counter that?
I'm sorry.
What is the typical parking per seats in most municipalities?
What is the typical parking?
Per seats?
Yeah, I think the traffic engineer could probably handle
Okay.
to that question.
I think there is,
I can provide
The-
some of that.
That would be great. You're actually paid by us.
Yeah, typically a bar, a lot of times, we, one seat. Or 2 seats per space. Restaurants are usually 3 to 4 seats.
That's what I remember.
per space.
That's what I remember.
That's a typical one.
Right, so if we were
It's
at,
the bar that is the intense.
right, if we were at a 3 seats to 1 stall, would we, I mean, 1 parking spot, would we be within,
I can't.
can't do the math?
You need close, Robert.
Yeah, no, we.
Not that hard of a math to do.
The recliner would be about 100 spots. They have 124. Yeah, there's 300.
Only because I remember the application coming before us
Yeah.
for the last restaurant, and I remember a 3 to 1 rather than a 2 to 1 coming up then as well.
It would be 110, it would be 140.
It would be 100,
It's 343 seats.
right?
Divided by 3 is 110, roughly,
Okay.
113, plus 30 employees,
You'd
143.
be at
And
1.
you have 124, so you're 20 shot.
Yeah.
Roughly,
That was the restaurant that I think we approved on
Right.
Broadway, if I'm not mistaken.
okay.
Kindergarten.
So-
Kindergarten, right.
And then Uber and Lyft have changed that, but the parking codes have probably not changed.
But again, the traffic engineer will get through that. Let's try to finish with the engineer. You guys got anything else for him?
right.
That's it?
There was something in the planner's report about EV charging stations or.
Sure.
Yes, correct. We don't show that on the plan. If the board would require one, we would certainly add an EV space to the property.
The testimony is we will comply. If it's required, the applicant will comply with.
I
the
believe the code is based on the number of new parking spaces.
I'm
which-
sorry, I didn't hear
I
you.
believe it's based on how many new parking spaces you're proposing. So if we're going from 85 to 124, there's 39 new parking spaces, which would require 1 EV space, which we would comply with.
I'm assuming that's correct, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Anthony, I know, I believe in your report, you requested testimony in certain areas. Have they all been covered?
Some of it will be covered with traffic and some of it with the landscape architect.
Okay.
But engineering is
Good.
covered.
Or DPW made a comment about the sewer lines being checked. Has there been any investigation of?
We haven't done any, but we will comply with that. That was brought up by the engineer's comments as well, that we would TB the sewer lines, the storm sewers as well. We would do all of that and provide that information to the board's professionals.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Can we get a motion open to the public for cross-examining a witness? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any members of the audience have any questions for the, comments, come later, questions, cross-examine for the witness?
Sorry, keep coming up.
That's okay. You got 15 minutes.
And my name again, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I mean, mechanical, that's pretty satisfied with what the engineers came up with and were very good. The main questions I have is related to parking, lighting, and sound deadening, okay? So one question is, on the east side, you said the driveway, are you lowering are you taking some soil away and?
Well,
and then drive?
Behind the building we are. For that initial driveway, as you're moving in off of Prospect, to the rear of the building will stay as it is today.
No, so on the east side, as
Yes.
first drive will stay the same. height?
Exactly the same elevation that's out there today, roughly, yes. As you get past the rear of the building, we start to cut down and depress the parking area and the parking lot in that area, along that side.
Now, another question is, you talked about lighting on the parking lot.
Yes,
Is lighting a zoning requirement?
yes.
Because I don't know if the board is aware, there has been no lighting there since for the last 22 years.
Significant improvement is what we're making.
Building built before the zoning.
Now, the other question is there a requirement for the height where the lights are?
Yes,
Is there a zoning requirement?
the maximum height, I believe, is 25 feet.
No, is there a minimum height requirement, not the maximum?
Minimum, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so just for the zoning, so right now it looks like a residential area. Our impression here from our neighbors is all of a sudden the parking lot has 20-foot high lights. Now we have a mall in our house, okay? So my recommendation is to put a 5-foot tall lightning, so people, they've survived for the last 22 years with no lighting. So 5-foot tall is still looks residential. If it's 20-foot tall, everybody has lights in their house. It's looking at the parking lot, okay? So there's just a suggestion, okay? The other suggestion is on the fence.
Yes.
You said it's gonna be 5 foot plus a foot. Now you're measuring that from the street level, right? From Crestfield side or from?
That's the height of the fence from the ground up.
Okay.
For where the fence is.
Is it on top of the retaining wall though?
In that area, it is correct on Crestfield. It's
So
on
the retaining wall first and the fence on top.
So it basically would be equivalent of being on the street. Right now, there is a grass on Crestfield.
The existing grade that's out there today, yes, that will be 6 feet above that existing grade, will be the top of that fence.
So from our neighbors, our recommendation is that we have maybe a 9-foot fence, because let me tell you what. Right now, historic for the last 22 years, every second weekend we have an event. Every once in a while, we have more people, and Crestfield Court was completely taken over, and we haven't disturbed. Was not a big deal every couple of weeks, but now if it's every day, it's a different story. And so our recommendation is to raise the fence to 8 or 9 feet from the Crestfield Court and from the neighbor on the north, so they have more privacy.
Yeah.
And lower the lights, not 20 feet, because that's, now we have the mall by us. Lower the lights below the visibility of the fence from the street. Okay, so So it's still privacy. You have a privacy of lighting. And the other thing is possible, make a fence that will be a sound deadening fence, so we have privacy of sound as well. I mean, we want you to be successful, but let's work together, okay?
Okay.
So that'll be my recommendation, okay?
Okay.
Now, how to finesse the parking. I've seen before where, when they had large events, they bus people from, the park by the station and bus people up for large events. Just maybe you can be creative when, if there is large events, you have another way with the valet, so it doesn't become a problem. We want to be successful, but we don't have the Crestfield Court and the other street above to be every day or every week completely overwhelmed. So if we can finesse that, we want you to be successful.
Sure. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Left Varinsky, left LED, DARANSAY, and Crystal Court. So just to clarify the height of the existing structure, the proposed structure.
The height of the existing structure? 37.1 feet is the height.
Is that the actual height or the variance granted?
No, that's the height of the structure based on the average grade adjacent to it. So, which is proposed, we're asking for a variance for that, and it is 45.58 feet.
45 is actually what's planned, or is it just what you're asking for variance?
That's what we're planned right now, and it's asking for a variance for that.
The actual structure.
Yes, where the elevator, just for the elevator area and that stair tower
This
adjacent.
is actually 45 feet, that's what you're not asking for more than.
No.
What you're planning to do right now?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
That's the max.
Question about trash and being at the northwest corner, kitchen
Correct.
being at the northeast corner. I mean, how will trash move from kitchen area to trash area? Is it like inside? There's some hallway inside, or is it gonna be all done outside?
Well, it has to get outside, so it has to, they'll try, take it across the parking lot. Not all be done, obviously, I'm sure off hours, but the owner's rep can talk to that, how they operate and how they take care of trash.
Plan separate containers for recyclables, like glass.
Yes, that would be in there as well. If it's required to have recyclables, that would be in there with the trash.
And you were the person to speak about that in detail, or someone else?
In terms of the operation of the facility and how the trash is taken out, I'm not that person. It should be the operations manager.
Thank
Yeah.
Yeah, Marie Borelli, 18 Crestfield Court. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I liked what you said about, being in the R15 zone and how the structure needs to complement. Can you just repeat what you said, because I think you said it was late and I can't remember exactly what you said.
Master plan, the R15 zone is residential. So my question to the architect related to existing architecture of a typical residential home in Woodcliff Lane. And the architecture that he was proposing, is that similar to that? And if I do recall his testimony, it was similar to, based on roof lines, based on windows, based on materials used. In fact, the materials used were high end, no vinyl siding. So
Okay.
he answered my question.
Okay, all right, but I'm gonna echo what this gentleman said here about the lighting. And so residential stories are about 10 feet, each story is about 10 feet, right? So the 20-foot lights is equivalent to 2 stories, right? So based on what the borough planner said, I don't think 20-foot lights actually complement the R15 zone. And like you said, it's gonna look like a mall. So, I echo with his request that we lower the lighting so that it's not, so that we don't feel that we're living next door to a mall. Okay, the other thing, you had said that, safety lights are gonna be on, you said the safety lights are gonna be on overnight, as you said, right? Okay, so can you just give me a little bit more, give us a little more information about these safety lights?
I can't speak to it in detail, but I would think the town would want some lighting in that parking lot overnight.
If I'm not mistaken, Anthony, don't we have, isn't there a requirement to have some sort of minimum amount of light?
There's guidelines for minimum foot candles.
I
Not
think
an ordinance, but there's just a state guideline
The
or.
ordinance is adequate lighting for parking areas and pedestrians.
ultimately the applicant would agree to whatever the board feels is appropriate. We're going to provide a plan, a lighting plan that includes illumination levels. I think it might make sense.
10 hours.
Correct. I think it might make sense for that plan to also include a separate lighting plan for off hours and the illumination level proposed for those off hours, and then the board can make a determination as to whether that's appropriate. Ultimately, the applicant would be willing to turn the lights off whenever the board would agree.
Suggest that they provide some kind of security lighting that the police department would look at. They're the men and women after hours worried what's going on.
We have no problem submitting that plan to the police department for their review.
Anthony, I mean, the residents seem to think that the lowering the lighting, I guess the poles and lighting is that something that, I mean, we don't have too many facilities like this that are in residential zones. So can the lights be lowered and be effective?
So to answer that, yes, you can bring them down, say to 15 feet. But when you bring them down, then you end up possibly needing more. So it's, you know, how many bullets, right? It's a balance.
You took my question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's only about 6.
Well, it tells you how many. There's 12 pole mounted and one on the wall building.
So Anthony, what would be your recommendation? Keep them at 20 feet or?
We could look at, I mean, we could have them look at 15 feet. Is that, I mean, is that gonna make a difference?
Go visit from Elms.
What's the height of a regular traffic, street light?
So like a decorative street light, those are 12 to 14 feet, but those are more to provide pedestrian level lighting. The street lighting itself on the utility poles, the Cobra heads, those are up high.
They're high.
To light the street.
Yeah.
So
Why don't we just stick with submitting the plan, day and night plan? We'll have the police look at it, we'll have the engineer look at it. we'll
with the
discuss it.
photometrics.
Right.
Of course.
Okay, thank you, that's all I think.
Yep.
Oh, so.
Just have a comment about the lighting real quick. The whole diagram you showed, it's 20 feet, but you have no fixture designation. Have you selected anything like?
I'm sorry, could you speak up?
Have you selected any kind of rounded?
Yeah, I think they testified that they would have, I forget what he had said.
We could provide the
ability to control the lighting.
we could provide the detail of the lamp fixture itself in more detail so you could see what it looks like. Yes.
But the LED lighting is completely controllable.
That's right.
correct?
You can control the intensity, the light, color. It's completely controllable. And there'll be shields to make sure it doesn't so shine onto adjacent properties as
So
much.
it's not light pollution going to the neighbor.
Right. I do know that, you know, the lower poles, 12, 14, or 15 pedestrians that are in the parking lot, they're not going to be downlights as much as like.
That's correct. They'll have to
So the glare will be more horizontal.
more horizontal.
Some kind of solution that's. a compromise, maybe a little bit lower, but.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be sleeping.
Okay.
Next time, whatever.
We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look and see what we can do about reducing that.
Yeah, if the client's got a spec on a fixture, you could even include that spec on the, what did you call it?
On the lighting, the photometric.
Yeah. Absolutely, we'll provide that.
Any other members of the public have any comments? Sure.
People Joe's, 32 Prospect Avenue. People Joe.
Okay. You spell that for?
Yeah, DEEPU. Last name JOSE. 32 Prospect. Maybe I missed it. Is there any fencing or privacy fencing for residents right directly across from your?
Along the front of the property?
Yeah.
No, there's extensive landscaping being provided along that, and actually all around the perimeter as well, which will help shield all the lighting and noise as well, but the landscape architect can talk about that, but there's no fencing across the front of the property, closed.
What about the outdoor patio? Does it have any restrictions or any, anything that prevents, because our porch is directly facing the entrance, the patio.
I mean, I think when you look at the landscape plan, you'll see that I don't know, because I haven't had a visual, and I'm sure the landscape architect will testify more to this, but I don't think you'll be able to see that patio area from Prospect, if that's your question.
Yes, that is, yeah.
I don't believe so, but I'm not the landscape engineer to be able to testify to it. And I don't know if they have a rendering of it from the street, but I'm sure that they'll testify more on that later.
Oh, sure, thank you. That's it.
Any other members of the public?
I make a motion to close to the public.
All in favor? If we could just take maybe a minute or two and think about a potential special meeting to see if we can calendar that in. Either before or right after our next scheduled meeting, which is when? The 13th.
Yeah, what, November?
Yeah. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 13th, right?
Are you continuing this application on November 13th?
No, that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
I think council said they're good for December 6th.
As of right now, I don't think we have anything for the 16th. So you think? So we can have them coming first on the 16th, on December 16th. And you're.
We are available. Our experts are available for the December 16th meeting, correct?
16th is not a holiday. I know.
That's a regular.
It's not. Ariel, are you good on December 16th?
Well, second, that doesn't have a lot of meeting from them.
I'm looking for an answer. I don't know. You're good? All right, so it looks like maybe what we'll do is we'll carry the meeting until December 16th. And have you first on the agenda for the 16th.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant also agrees to waive the applicable time limitations for the requested adjournment through December 16th.
Before everybody leaves,
Guys, could you just be quiet so we can finish up the meeting?
Okay. This meeting, this hearing on this application will be continued on December 16th. You're not going to get any new notice of that meeting. So anyone who's listening and everyone who's in attendance here, if you're interested in this application, it will be heard and continued on December 16th at 7 p.m. Borough Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, thank you for your time. We'll see you again on December 16th.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I apologize.